Welcome. Thanks for sticking around. And welcome to Filmography. You'll notice you're only hearing one voice. That's not because Jeff is not here. That's not because I killed him and put him in barrels and threw those barrels off of a cliff or any sort of contrivance like that. He's just urinating. And he'll be back shortly. But in the meantime, we can say whatever we... Oh, hey, man.
Oh. You guys are talking shit about me?
Ha ha ha! Welcome, guys. Let's see.
Once in my life. Once in my life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Thanks.
Okay. Is this a breed that?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep. Oh, but it's like when it's not as well lit, it's like olive. Olive. What's up, dears? You've not long woke up. How'd SO1 go? Oh, it was fine. We didn't do much. Hold on. Hey, pretzel. Hey, pretzel. You're great, and I love you. But just chill out for a second. All right. All right. Hey! Oh, whoops.
Whoa, wrong movie.
Hey! How's it going, guys? Welcome to Filmography, episode 7? 8?
Every single time.
Might be 8. I don't know.
Oh, I can't believe we've done 8 of these.
I know.
Really?
I couldn't either. I think it might be 7. It might be
I think
7
it's
or
7.
8.
I think
it might
it's
be 7 or 8.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So now, yeah. Or if anyone has been keeping count, you could go if you wanted to the Filmography collection on the channel and count them up and tell me. You don't have to. Don't worry about
just go back and revisit them.
Yeah,
You know?
just watch them.
If you're trying to go to sleep, just let us soothe you to sleep with our annoying banter.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
everyone. Hello, John Ford.
Because you'll be like, I gotta leave. I gotta leave consciousness right now.
Yeah.
Because these dudes won't shut up. Instead of pausing, I'm just gonna let my body fall into the rhythms that it needs to, and just biologically take care of myself that way. Hey. Disable the SL1 run went okay. We killed the Hydra.
Busy.
Yeah. Sounds such a gamer. Killed the Hydra and messed around with Dusk a little bit. Tried to take the perfect prom picture with Dusk. It was great. Hold on. Let me fix something here. Check this out. Oh, but the changing of the guard. We will.
I want to be behind a really bloody Sissy Spacek.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where the heck? Why on earth? What? Hold on. What?
By the way, how many people got to? People got to watch this?
Yeah.
Mother.
Let's start it the way we always do with a little homework check.
Homework check.
Let me know if you
perfect.
got to watch CARRIE. Is that good?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's not great. Hold on, let's see.
Unless you got other
we
options.
can do this. We can do this. Should have done this before. How about that one? Yeah. We're just gonna. Yellow's a poor choice because it's going to make everyone all... You didn't rewatch it, but you've seen the original and the remake. So I have not seen the remake, and I am interested to see it now.
Me too.
I didn't realize it
Me too.
I didn't realize it was a full 5 years ago. My gosh.
Man, isn't that crazy?
I know.
Because, so it was 2013?
2013.
Which I'm just like, yeah, that was...
It's a pretty intense wallpaper. Yeah.
Should we keep that, or should we just do a filmography background?
We could.
Because that's gonna annoy the bejesus out of me.
Fair. All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll just keep it standard and classy.
Yeah. You watched it. Rock and Roll Deluxe Supreme. Teacher, a dog ate my homework. A dog ate your ability to watch CARRIE.
That's right.
If a dog ate your eyeballs, then I apologize. See, not the remake yet. Is CARRIE remake the one with Don Draper's daughter No, it's what is
No,
it?
it's
Chloe
with,
Grace Moretz. Is
yeah.
that Don Draper's daughter?
Which, let's do a little survey real quick.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody think Chloe Grace Moretz is a good actor?
She was when she was a kid. I haven't seen her as an adult.
This is a too frequent discussion in my household.
Really?
Because she was fantastic as a child, and then I've gone back and forth with my girlfriend over this. We have deduced that we think she was great as a child, and then she never advanced in her elder year as she grew.
Okay.
And she just still acts like a child.
Cujo ate my VHS version of Carrie. Very nice.
Fair.
Very, very nice. Cujo has Dee Wallace in it. We should watch Cujo. We should watch all Stephen King movies.
Pet Sematary?
Yeah, they're remaking it.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I can't remember who's doing it. It's someone interesting.
They should just have Frank Darabont do all of them.
It'll just be like a bunch of Thomas Newman music and very kind of contemplative.
That cat.
Cujo came to the pet to the pound after destroying half an hour. Oh yeah, Adult Chloe Moretz is really impressed. So I've never really seen her in anything besides. Remember the? No, that's Hayden Panettiere. I get them confused. That's not fair because they're just both, small blonde young women who were children.
I saw her in a terrible movie. It was a Tim Burton movie with Johnny Depp, Dark Souls.
Oh, Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows.
Adaptation of the
Which was
show.
I've only wanted to walk out of a movie like 3 times in my life, and I've only done it once. And on that one, I was this close.
Really?
I couldn't believe it.
That sucks, man. The trailer, I was like,
bad.
The trailer made me kind of go like, oh, he might be getting back to Burtoning, to real Burtoning.
It was a colossal miss, and she was in it, and it was. I can't even blame that one on her because it was just a bad movie. But yeah,
that's too bad. You liked her in The Equalizer, Disable. Interesting.
Oh, she's in that. I need to see those.
She's the Equalizer.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what's Denzel?
And he's just like a side character.
He's the Morgan Freeman part of that, yeah.
You imagine if Tim Burton made a Dark Souls film. That would be weird. What was the last good Tim Burton movie? Big Fish, some people would say. I would go back to... I mean, Big Fish is... I don't remember Big Fish enough.
Big Fish is probably...
the last great one. I mean, the great Edward. I mean, the great Tim Burton movies are Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood.
Oh, for sure, Ed Wood.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that Ed Wood is his best movie too.
You can argue a lot of things. No, yeah. No, Ed Wood is definitely.
I'm sorry, because with Tim Burton, there's probably his most artistically accomplished.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't direct Nightmare. Sorry, go ahead.
When I say artistically accomplished, I mean, I don't know what I mean. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And can we just talk about how what's his name doesn't get credit for Nightmare ever?
Henry Selick?
Yes.
I know.
It's a
yeah.
It sucks.
It is because it literally is Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's Tim Burton's. It's like It's like if Spike Lee made it. Like it's Tim Burton's. Does that make sense? Does what I said make sense?
It does.
It's a Tim Burton joint.
Because Tarantino does it, and look,
Yeah.
I get it from a marketing standpoint. I get it, but Henry Selick must have been like, "Wow, I just spent 5 years of my life making this, and no one knows that I'm." I mean, the hardcore people know, but the masses don't. They automatically assume that's Tim Burton.
I think people still think Tim Burton directed Coraline.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what. I mean, because it certainly looks and feels like the animated extension of a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their the collaboration was like, but we haven't seen Beetlejuice 2 yet, though. And thank your lucky stars, thank your lucky striped sandworms that we haven't seen Beetlejuice 2 yet, because I don't want to see Beetlejuice. You want to see Beetlejuice 2?
Wait, is that that's a thing?
It was a thing. It's been a thing for a while. They've been talking about it. They had.
Oh, they're talking about doing it?
Well, it's been they had Winona was signed on, Michael Keaton was signed on, Tim Burton was signed on. It's like a thing.
Do you want to see that?
No.
Yeah.
Tim Burton, Beetlejuice is there are like 2 or 3 movies. You know, people always say like lightning in a bottle movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Also, if they were gonna do it, why on earth would you need Winona back? Like, just have Beetlejuice. Like, it's Beetlejuice. Have him do
Also,
some.
like, why do you
do it? Like, just get new actors or.
I mean, is it going to be like it? I mean,
I hate when they
don't know.
revisit characters and they're like, "Oh, we have to bring the entire cast back because nostalgia."
I mean, why do it now? I mean, like
That's
Michael
weird.
Keaton is 60 years old, 55. I don't even know how old he is, but like, why?
He's hot. He's hot again.
He is. I don't know. I love Beetlejuice. I love and Michael Keaton. Man, he's a gift. But like, I don't know. You said his name 3 times. Yeah, but if you say it, well, okay, we're screwed. Just don't reboot Beetlejuice. Like, honestly, that would make more sense. I would watch a Sam Rockwell Beetlejuice. Or something like that. I would watch a Sam Rockwell Drop Dead Fred because they can.
I just feel like Sam Rockwell is one of those guys where you're like, yeah, I would watch Sam Rockwell in
anything.
Almost anything.
Yeah. You can do a Beetlejuice sequel with makeup and stuff. Yeah, sure, you totally could. I just want to say that Winona Ryder has been my crush since like 7. Absolutely, totally get that, Retla.
Yeah.
Understood. Is there a theatrical re-release for Beetlejuice happening soon? I don't know, but that would be great. I'd love to see.
That'd be cool.
I'd love to see. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I would love to see Beetlejuice on the big screen. Who would be a good substitute for Beetlejuice 2? I mean, I think Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
I think Sam
Pretty
Rockwell
good.
is kind of it. I don't know. Giovanni Ribisi? I don't know. Like everything is. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
That'd be weird.
I
I don't know. What was
think
the
Logo.
last?
Yeah, get on the
what was
phone.
last
Get on the horn.
Tim
Call people.
Burton movie that was made. I know he did the one with like the big eyes.
Big eye. That's literally what it was called. Yeah, Big Eyes.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of it, and then you said the one with the big eye, and I was like, Big Eyes. It's big.
And then
Big Eyes.
is there like an Alice in Wonderland 2 or something?
No. He did not do the Wizard of Oz one that Sam Raimi did that I thought he did. Like I remember that he Sam Raimi did like an Oz movie, and I was like, and I knew it was Sam Raimi, and then after a while I started to think it was Tim Burton for some reason. Yeah, apparently Savage. I don't know about that. Like they started talking about it a couple years ago, like it was gonna happen, and then who knows? PG-13, he can drop one F-bomb like he did in the original. Oh, very well placed one. We need to do a whole episode. Maybe not. Maybe we just need to do this segment right here on the best one and done F-bombs in film. PG-13, because as you know, PG-13, you get 1 to 3 non-sexual, non-sexual fucks in a movie. Non-sexual in the sense that like you can say, fuck this or fuck that, but you can't say, I'm gonna fuck your uncle. Yeah.
I usually like it when they do it and then they have a kid say it, you know, like when it's in a teen movie or something. Yeah. That's always the most satisfying.
You can always tell. Sometimes they do one and you can tell. It's like you go like, oh, it's like you don't even realize you're watching a PG-13 movie until it just goes zoom and they go, fuck. And it's just like, nice.
And sometimes it's distracting, like where you're like, oh, you didn't have to say that at all, but you want it. You had the leeway, so you did it.
To me, those are kind of the best. Like the throwaway ones are the ones that because usually they'll save it for like, you just said it, and this is the climactic monologue, and you get out of fucking something. And I just go like, nah, okay. But like, and I go and it generally tends to stick out because my brain, I don't know why, but my brain has a calibration where it goes, oh, I haven't heard that yet in this movie, and there it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, subconsciously on the lookout for it. But the best ones are like in Beetlejuice, you just I mean, I think a lot of people would have to think about where the F is, where the F word is in Beetlejuice, but he just,
where is it?
He just goes, no, he just goes, what do you want me to do? And he kicks the thing over and he goes, nice fucking model, honk honk. And he grabs his balls and honks. It's just great.
That reminds me of like there's a South Park episode where I think they were allowed to say shit finally.
Yes.
And I think they wait all episode, and then at the very end, or maybe it was the show within the show, the Canadian guys, and at the very end he just kind of walks back on camera. He's like, "Hey, you got a little shit right there."
Yeah, this is really funny. That's really fantastic. In Venom, he says his big old demon voice. Well, that's
whoa, really?
Does he have a big old demon voice? Does Tom Hardy do a big old demon voice? He talks like this and
He needs to get those marbles out of his mouth.
I
Sleepy Hollow was good, yes.
Was it? Okay, interesting.
You didn't like it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I would count that as a good Tim Burton movie.
Okay, well then that's after.
Not great.
Is it after Big Fish?
That's before Big Fish.
Okay.
I think Big Fish is the last one
Sure.
where I was like, that's... And I think it's one of his best movies.
Yeah. The other one, my very favorite, and I may be biased, and I haven't done it comprehensive, but my very favorite F-bomb in a movie is in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You go the entire movie. There's a lot that happens in that movie. People get executed. He shoots an arrow through the thing and it explodes. Like there's a ton of places for it to be, and it's in the middle. It's in the middle of this battle, and Christian Slater's there and Kevin Costner's there and Morgan Freeman. They put Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman on a catapult to get them over over the castle wall. He launches it. They go oh and land on hay on the other side. And Christian Slater goes, "Fuck me, cleared it," which is great. It's great. It just it's great. It's an art to putting it.
Period appropriate, but that word doesn't seem like it belongs in that universe at all.
Yeah. Oh, there's Planet of the Apes so I've never seen Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I never saw Burton's version.
I've never seen Planet of the Apes, but the thing that I've heard that makes me want to see Planet of the Apes is that at the end of Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg,
oh yeah,
he finds out that it's Earth, and you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And someone was like, "There's a statue, and it says Abraham Lincoln."
Oh shit! It says
ape or something.
No, because it's the Lincoln Memorial,
and it's
an ape.
But is it?
But it's.
I thought someone
Abraham.
I thought someone said it was Abraham Lincoln, which
makes sense in the world because if it's an ape.
But there's no Abraham Lincoln.
That's so dumb.
Does it say Abraham Lincoln?
Ugh.
Wow, Drop Dead Fred. I just mentioned Drop Dead Fred, didn't I? I did, right? Yeah. Does it say the name Abraham Lincoln? Because that's the key. That's the key. Like an ape. If it's an ape, Abraham Lincoln.
I want to find a screenshot of this.
Also, gosh, that just makes no sense. It literally makes no sense because in an alternate universe in which apes ruled the world. Fine. Maybe they build a society. No. Maybe they have a civil war. Why on earth would that ape wear a stovepipe hat?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's Abraham Lincoln, so.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Because in their world, it's the same exact world, just with apes.
Abraham Lincoln. We're figuring this out right now.
Oh,
that's not bad.
Now, see, it's not great.
No, it's not.
It's not great. That is one of the dumbest things. Look, I mean, it doesn't look dumb when you first look at it. You're like, oh, it's tastefully done or whatever. But then you think about what you're looking at and how that would have been made and everything. And you're like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
It just doesn't make any sense that, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those like suspend disbelief things, I guess. But I mean, when you think about the original and how they, that they write up on the Statue of Liberty, that's buried, and it's like, oh, it's Earth. Oh my gosh, that's
way better.
That's just way more tasteful. And
I understand if they couldn't do that because they're like, it's the most historic ending twist of all time. They needed to do it differently. But that wasn't it.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe it doesn't say. Okay. So that's a completely different thing. That is far more acceptable than it actually saying Abraham Lincoln. I guess people just said Abraham Lincoln, and I took it that
it's still not great. Though. Yeah. Now that I've seen that image, that is really dumb. Is that like the final shot of the movie? I mean,
probably.
That's the big, because I'm sure there's big dramatic and then I know that they just cut to Wahlberg's big dumb face when sorry, I watched a whole thing on The Happening last night that dissected that whole movie. Boy, his acting in that, and I think he's a great actor. Sure, I really do. But he is doing some next level shit in that movie. Like, his voice in that, He's like, hey, have you guys heard about these like bees and how they're like blah 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 blah.
Hey, you
His
don't know
whole performance is like
what
that.
they're saying. The trees are trying to kill us, and they should.
Yeah.
Because the earth, we're destroying the environment, and that's it.
It's like he watched Andy Samberg's impersonation of him and then did that performance for the whole movie. It was weird.
Oh man, yeah, they're happening. Oh boy, I tend to, or at least tended to pull for Shyamalan. I'm glad.
Me too.
I'm glad. I'm glad he's out there. I'm glad for the stuff that he's made. Yeah, the happening. I don't know.
Honestly, Lady in the Water was the one where I was like, whoa, and then it just kept getting worse. And we've had this discussion before, but he's one of those few filmmakers that I'm like,
Lydia Vaughn, thank you for the follow.
He's one of those few filmmakers where I'm like, oh, it's not that you're just kind of making bad movies these days or whatever. I genuinely look at what he's making now and I'm like, oh, where did any sense of talent go? Like any sense. Because it's like on every single level, like he's just completely lost it.
I don't know. I mean, because you look at, goodness, yeah, you look at, yeah, even again, and a million times we talked about it. Even up until The Village, it's just gorgeous. It's
gorgeously,
it's beautiful filmmaking,
like craftsman. Very beautiful filmmaking. There's at least a sense that you can disagree with The Village. I'm a fan of The Village. I understand why people hate it, but you can sense that there is a consistency to the world being built and the performances and
just the craftsmanship of the movie.
The craftsmanship of the movie. Yeah. But then from Lady in the Water, and then because it goes Lady in the Water, Happening, After Earth, Last Airbender, Split,
Ugh.
Boy.
You mean Signs, Savage Dragon? I love Signs. Signs is my favorite.
Signs is awesome.
Signs is my favorite.
It's great.
It is the pinnacle of his films to make.
I heard Split was okay, but you've seen it. I haven't seen it.
You didn't like it. I failed to connect with Split.
Yeah.
I feel like Split was I feel like they got McAvoy because it's a heck of a. It's like you have to play 12 characters, right. And he does it, and he does it well, and just the whole time I'm kind of aware that this is like an acting exercise for him, kind of. You never. I don't know.
But here's the thing, John Ford. With Sixth Sense, I'm like, yeah, I can understand why it's known as the twist movie. But if you really watch that movie, there's some genuinely beautiful moments, and it's beautifully crafted, and the acting is amazing, and across the board, I'm like, yeah, that's a great horror film. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it got way too hyped, and then there was backlash, and I get it, and blah blah blah, and it was this cultural icon type thing, but yeah. That movie was good. I'm saying that I don't see any talent anymore as a director, because you're saying that it's just the writing, and I'm saying you watch After Earth and I'm like, what?
Really?
What? And then Lady in the Water, same thing. And then The Happening, you're just it's just weird choices. It's not even bad choices. It's just bizarre choices after bizarre choices of how he's structuring scenes or how he's approaching scenes or what he's telling his actors to do. It's just all of it's weird. I'm like, does he have a drug problem?
Well, it's weird because he's kind of. I wonder. I mean, there's no telling, and I think that it's hard as an artist probably to get that level of acceptance and praise and success, and then have it kind of turn and everyone is against you and everyone's trashing you.
Yeah.
And people started saying oh, it's just the same thing every time. And I was like, no, it's not. It's just a different surprising twist every time. Yes, he does. He makes films with twist endings. So do a million writers. And sure, if you don't like that, that's fine. But people there started to be a backlash against him. And then people were kind of eager to see him fail, and it's got to be a kind of disconcerting thing. And I think maybe part of him is sort of maybe reticent to go back to that wheelhouse of these kind of like suspense Hitchcocky things with a twist. I don't know. I mean, because like, why would he do After Earth and if not to like prove that he can do things that are not
sure.
And I'm like, yeah, great, but I like what you do. I like these things that you do. I mean, like, yeah, like honestly, go back and watch. Oh, what the heck?
But it felt like
goodness gracious, sorry.
You know, he was also a victim of his own ego.
Sure, possibly.
I mean, you know the story of Lady in the Water. He gave him the script for it at Warner Brothers. They said, "We think this needs some work, but we'll still make it." And he said, "No way." And he was like, "Okay, you don't even have to change anything, and we'll still make it." And he said, "No way, I'm out of here." And he walked out. And he was like, and he went to another studio.
Oh.
Because he was just like, "I'm a genius, and I'm gonna make it the way." And they were like, "You can make it the way you want to make it." But yeah.
That's an interesting thing. Sorry. I just realized that my table was falling apart and maybe the microphone was, I don't know. So that's an interesting thing because I don't know exactly what the difference is and how you tell whether you are doing that or whether you are being Billy Friedkin or
I think it's all of it. I mean, I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's his ego. I think you're right that people were starting to get eager for him to fail.
Sure.
Because on top of all this, people, I mean, there's literally like a Time magazine cover after Signs where it says the next Spielberg. And I don't even think it's the next Spielberg ? It's just stated as fact.
Sure.
He was touted for a while there as like the next guy, like the next big dude. And he was. It's just weird how it all... It's not like he had one. He's had 4 or 5 in a row, and you're just like, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I guess, yeah, and sure. But it's interesting with that sort of like uncompromising, like I am the auteur, I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
If you're not on board with 100% of anything that I come up with, then you are like. I mean, if you hear stories like that about someone like Kubrick or Fincher or I mean, or Friedkin or something, like, I don't know. You go, oh right, and that's just them because I guess the proof is in the pudding. I guess if you like the movie that results from that, then those stories just sort of increase the legend and kind of and go. That's what you have to do as an artist.
Right.
If you don't like the movies that result from that, then you go, what it and
that's the danger.
Like, how do you know which one you are in the moment? How do you know which one? You know what I mean?
That's true.
So maybe don't be a dick. But if you are a dick, then make a really great movie.
Well, and that's the thing. It's just like it's kind of setting yourself up where you're like you have to deliver. I mean,
but at the same time, at the time, Scorp, he did have the skills to back it up, and I'm not saying he doesn't, because I think it's hard to. I don't know, and I mean, heck, dude, like cinema is full of directors who, make 1, 2. Even 3 fantastic films and then are never really heard from again. I mean, that's just, I mean, I think, I don't know. I think it's really hard to make consistently excellent work, especially as a filmmaker.
It's hard to make anything that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is
even once
in filmmaking and across in any creative endeavor.
Right.
It takes a lot of work to make something that's just good.
Yeah.
So to make something great, it just takes a lot, and it takes a lot out of a person. So I can even understand that, like, after a while, you just gets like he did all the way up to The Village. That's that's 5.
Yeah.
That's 5 in a row.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
and I understand that magazine cover. Like going,
without question.
What are we gonna? What I mean, like, he's got five legitimate, super gigantic hits in a row. What are we gonna? Yeah. Like, I mean.
But I saw like a dissection of Lady in the Water, and I was just like, yeah, that movie really was absolutely bonkers.
It would be. Look, this is So we're talking about how do you know if you're one of the good ones or if you're... It would be like Lobro bragging about his skills in Dark Souls. Thanks, Scorp. That's entirely uncalled for. Am I really the only one who never liked him? I
don't know. So
I'd be surprised if you didn't like any of his films. You didn't like Signs or Unbreakable or The Sixth Sense or The Village.
Because I'd be curious to know why you didn't like at least Sixth Sense. I mean, all popular culture stuff removed.
John, I will say that Unbreakable was great. Armageddon, I really enjoy Armageddon. I like Armageddon, but that's Michael Bay. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I just like to watch that graham cracker scene or the animal cracker scene. Yeah.
The gazelle
to get me in the mood.
His prey across the Serengeti. And she's like,
God, 90s Ben Affleck sucks.
No, that's a great movie. And then she goes, do you think somewhere two people are doing this exact same thing? And then everyone goes, no one's ever done that. No one has ever taken animal crackers, walked across the stomach of their lover and talked about and made it a nature show. Maybe
they've done it in other Coke commercials that they filmed. That whole movie just looked like a Coke commercial. Yeah. Unless they were in outer space and it looked like a toy commercial for Nerf guns.
Which is, oh my gosh. Which are great.
It's great.
Look, I'll say, big twists make you go, well, that was dumb. You just wasted 2 hours. So I feel like unsuccessful big twists do that. But think about movies that have big twists that work, like Seven or Planet of the Apes, or is it a lazy way of writing?
Because I would say that Sixth Sense, I think it got the credit it deserved because that was a good twist that made you rethink the whole movie.
And I'm not saying I'm not a big fan of that one, O'Toddle, but I'm not saying you have to like Shyamalan, but I'm just saying if you write off twists as a whole, then it's like, that's writing off a lot of great films. That Citizen Kane. Planet of the Apes still works as a movie without the twist. Well, but a gigantic part of the movie is a twist. You're saying that Shyamalan's movies don't work without the twist.
What is the twist in Seven? It's a shock.
Spoiler. It's the completion of the plan and how it was completed.
Is that a twist, or is that just good planning?
Well, I think
is that a twist?
I think that's a.
I guess that's a twist.
I think a twist because
is that considered a twist movie? I've just never thought of it that way, but.
Kind of. It does have I would say it has a twist ending. It doesn't. It's not like.
It's
like
surprising.
I don't remember the end of Heat, but Heat doesn't have a twist ending.
No.
Like there are movies that are like The Godfather doesn't have a twist ending.
Heat has a badass ending that'll make you cry.
Fight Club is definitely a film with a twist.
Yes.
Maybe it's because how old it is. I thought there were movies out there that do what Citizen Kane does better. Yeah. There's no Citizen Kane. If you go back and watch it right now, you have to go back and put yourself in a certain frame of mind and understand what you're seeing. It's not gonna.
Frankly, I feel like that's what we're about to do with Carrie because.
Yeah. Good segue.
Holy smokes!
Let's talk about
Carrie, guys.
Let's talk about Carrie by Brian De Palma.
Because I didn't contextualize it, and I feel like there's people who are watching this right now who really like that movie. And this was my first time watching it.
Mine too.
And I did not like it at all. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't like it.
So one more time, let's take another show of hands. Who got to see Carrie or has seen it before? Give me a 1 if you have seen it, either recently. I guess just see one if you've seen it.
Yeah.
One. Laugh. One.
All right. Cool.
One. Nice. So yeah, I'd never seen Carrie. Jeff had never seen Carrie. We thought it was a cool idea. a very long time ago. So real quick, like we do, let's just start with the plot summary, sponsored by IMDb, not sponsored at all. In fact, if anyone from IMDb is watching, we're not using IMDb. I don't know. CARRIE, 1976. CARRIE White, a shy, friendless teenage girl. Sounds familiar. Who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom.
Well, oh, wow. That's
pretty. That's
the best summary I've ever seen.
That's pretty good.
That sums it up.
That is, you get an A on your book report, whoever that was. So, yeah. So.
All right.
Let's jump into it.
You tell me.
So hold on. Let me hold on. Let's real quick. So
you got notes?
No.
I got all my notes in my head, and they're not good.
So
I really didn't like it. I was in a good mood, and then I got angry while I was watching this.
So occasionally on the day before this stream every week, which usually, by the way, is a Saturday because we're usually doing this on Sunday. I'll go, it's tomorrow. And I'll text Jeff and be like, hey, are we doing it? And then Jeff will be like, oh yeah, or he'll be like, hey, are we doing it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, or whatever.
No, I'm always calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Brian, stop sweating.
Yeah. I can see it through the text. My gosh. Quit, you don't have to onomatopoeia the, like, I don't, anyway. But, so I got a text yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't have to send anything to Jeff to text to check because.
What time did I send that? I sent it to you right after it finished, like right afterward.
It says, what time is it? I don't know if I can tell what time. But sometime last evening, I got a text that said, "Welp, CARRIE is super terrible." The next text was, "Can't wait to rip that bad boy apart."
Yeah, it annoyed me. The movie annoyed me.
Yeah. So it opens, and it's this kind of like, sort of overhead aerial shot that is
where they're playing on like cement.
It's gliding over the.
They're like playing on a blacktop.
That's how you do volleyball, bro.
Is it?
No, I don't know. And it just this aerial shot that kind of glides over as they're playing volleyball, and back right in the serving position is CARRIE White, young skeletal CARRIE White.
This actually sets up everything for me because this is the issue. Okay. This is great. I'm glad we're starting on the opening shot.
Good.
Because it's this very stylish, top down, bird's eye view shot on a crane, and it cranes down and it goes across the volleyball court, and like you said, she's far in the back, looking very lonely and awkward, and it takes like 30 seconds to get it to the camera all to the close up on her face, and 5 seconds in, as it starts pushing in on her face, I'm like, oh, so she's gonna blow it.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole movie felt for me.
Sure.
And I think why I kept getting annoyed, and John was asking, does Jeff like Brian De Palma in general? And this is the major issue I have with De Palma in general, is that this dude is so into his camera trickery, and he's all style and stuff, that it gets in the way of what could be effective storytelling. Because I'm like, yeah, it's a very impressive shot. Also, I know I now have to wait for you to get your masturbatory camera shots done so we can get on with it. Okay, let's keep going.
It'll be
it's going to be like this for the next hour.
Yeah, it is. It's just going to be like, and this. Jeff? No, I get that. I think that's a very fair criticism. Absolutely. I mean, style over substance is never a good thing. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think there are a lot of things that have style that you could argue have style over substance that have done very, very well.
I agree with that. And I like them.
Now this is not. This may not be entirely fair, but some might posit that Tarantino is style over substance. Things like Sin City, Drive. Now I'm not a gigantic fan of everything that I'm mentioning, but 300 certainly. But also like shoot, some of the stuff that we've seen recently. I mean, The Graduate is a nice marriage, but it's very, very, very strongly stylized.
It is, yeah.
There are times when the style is no style. I mean, or just kind of.
And even people, and like, you know, and I love him. I love him to death. But Edgar Wright is probably one of the most stylish filmmakers. He just has. Okay. Most of the time, he has the substance to back it up.
Yeah, and
usually when he's working with Simon Pegg.
Yeah, and it depends. What what you're looking for in terms of substance. Like you watch Hot Fuzz and you go, well, it didn't teach me about my life, and you go, well, who cares? That's not the point.
It's not the point.
I mean,
and
it has
one of the tightest scripts I've ever seen in my life.
It's the tightest everything.
Yeah.
I feel
Is that your favorite Edgar Wright?
Oh yeah,
mine too.
Like 100%.
Mine too.
Like not even
close.
Not even a second thought. Yeah. Batman vs Superman is a good example. Film sucks, total ass. Totally disagree, but fair. Well, I guess not. I don't know. But there are some really awesome shots strewn throughout. Yeah, I 100% disagree with that. But I understand that is a minority opinion. And we'll get into that at some point in the future. And that's,
like right now.
That's all we'll talk about. De Palma didn't have much of a story to work with. I mean, it was a novel by Stephen King.
And even
but it's pretty spare.
And Stephen King even admitted, he was like, when the movie came out, he was just like, yeah, he did that better than even I did in the book.
Sure.
He was like, he approached it more artfully in terms of, I guess, the themes?
Because I read Carrie.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Excuse me while I mention that I read a book.
Wow. I feel like I should give you money.
Oh, well, hey. Any of you other troglodytes ever read a book? I don't know what just happened. I read it a while ago, back when I read books. And Mr. Rita over here. Is this your bookmark that you dropped? You must have. You probably have like a billion of them because you're always reading.
Books? You mean long coasters? Yeah.
Long coasters. Yeah. Well, sorry, we don't know how to read. Yeah, we're getting. This is literally John Travolta's character.
It is, yeah.
Stephen King seems to have weird taste, doesn't he? He does have odd taste. Well, The Shining is weird. Playongo, thank you for the follow.
He doesn't like people messing with his... He felt like The Shining... I think he's even admitted at this point that he's like, look, if it wasn't my work, I'd be like, that's a good movie. But it's not what I wrote, and it's not the book. So to call it The Shining, he just felt like it was the wrong intent.
Yeah, sure. And I think, I don't know. Yeah. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits. She give it to me. Yeah. Boy, those are mellifluous tones. That was great. I think I lost a finger. Oh, thank you so much, Crack City. $2 to read some more books. Thank you for supporting literacy. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, Kubrick did change a lot. From what I can tell. Anyway, yeah, the book is like, it's the story itself is like, okay, it's like there's a girl and she gets picked on a lot by people who are cartoonishly villainous. Like,
man, yeah.
All those girls, I was like,
from the like,
gosh, they're all bitches.
From the first scene, I was just like, this is insane.
It is insane. It is insane.
Because here's what it was. Because right after that first crane shot, there's another 2-minute, 3-minute slow motion shot of the locker room with naked girls walking around.
This.
And it's just like, I'm like, I was even like, that's kind of cool. But after 3 minutes, I'm like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Like, just get to her having her period so we can get the movie going.
And I think... So and I think that opening shot, I think or not that opening shot, that second shot, that big tracking shot with the like the very very like melodramatic, not melodramatic.
And that music is apparently like legendary.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I mean, it's of the time.
It's awful.
It's like Love Story. I don't know.
And I don't care if it's of the time, because think about this, guys. We did The Exorcist last week. That was made 3 years before this movie.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well,
Keep going.
but it's a very different tone, and I think it intends to be. I don't think it's, well, I don't know.
He's just so up Hitchcock's ass, and he's like literally stealing. When that Shining stuff came in, or not Shining,
Psycho?
the Psycho music cue came in.
Well, there's literally, I mean, it's literally the exact same thing. It's like cut and paste.
cue.
It is the cue.
And
he talked about it.
And he did. He did talk about
he
it.
was like, I'm glad we used Bernard Herrmann.
They used it as a temporary.
Yeah, and then left it in.
And we left it in.
And I'm like, well, but that's Psycho. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
That's one thing where I go, it's one thing where you watch a trailer for Gladiator and it's got the Braveheart music in it.
Yeah.
And you go, I get it. It's a trailer. Fine.
Yeah.
No one knows the Gladiator music yet. And that's fine. Use that. But and that happens. People use cues from other movies, even entire chunk. But Psycho?
Like
Bernard Herrmann?
And the most famous cue of all time, probably.
I mean, really,
I mean, really.
That is the thing that I just that did make me go, and I rewound it and was like, no, that's it.
Yeah,
that is exactly it. And then so that's definitely a fair thing. But to be fair, I mean, to be clear, I enjoyed this film and had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. And that long, so okay, these two things are not related. That long tracking shot of all the naked girls. I don't mean to butt that up against I had fun with this movie. I liked it. Remember all the naked girls? No, but that long tracking shot of that, I think it can seem gratuitous, but
in the context of the movie,
in the context of the story, you understand why.
That's why
because she's sexually repressed. Absolutely, that's the entire thing.
Yeah, I actually thought I was like, that's a wonderful way of opening the film and starting to get your themes across. Because again, the actual thematic content in this film, I can get behind. I just hated how he directed this. I think Sissy Spacek is really good in this movie. She's fantastic. Except for the opening scene where she discovers her period, and then for another 5 minutes as she's getting beat up by the most evil teenagers of all time, she is just screaming at the top of her lungs.
I mean, but that's directing.
It is. I mean, you're right.
And also the way...
I'm not blaming her. No. I am blaming him fully.
Also the way that it's shot. I mean, she just has this I mean, it goes to her back and it's just she looks like I'm sorry. I'm not trying to I'm certainly not trying to in any way body shame or anything like that. Sissy Spacek is a beautiful woman and has the body type that she has, but they fully take advantage of it in terms of the way she's shot and the way she is made to look. And behind her it's just this whatever. And it is kind of, but I mean, some of these things I think are, some of these things I think are attributable to the time. There are moments in really all the movies that we've seen so far that come off as shrill or kind of where it's not the same thing.
But that's a very you're right.
It's not
you see that
the audio is just
and
you're like, okay, and your brain goes, I love this movie and the rest of this experience is so fantastic that I'm just gonna skip over that with my brain, understand that. Because it is almost like they didn't know to move the boom away, for stuff like that. I mean, it is. There are just moments where you go oh, that was weird, but whatever.
Or it's just they're like, hey, just a couple screen, just shorten it. Yeah. It's just that scene went on forever where they kept throwing tampons at her.
Yeah,
and then she kept when she started screaming. And then she literally went over to the group of girls like this.
Help me.
I was like, oh, I know they're about to make fun of her. And frankly, they have every right to, because if you grabbed me with your period blood hands and she was going like this, and trying to get in their mouths. And I was just like, I'd be like, get the fuck off me.
Plug it up. Plug it up. You just be right there. That's the problem. Jeff's a plastic. No. And I don't see. I actually don't. I But I didn't have an issue with that because it. I mean, if you think to her, I mean, they say it, but she thought she was dying. She didn't know what a period was.
Sure.
And she's screaming, "Help me." She's screaming, "Help me!" And then she gets more terrified because they're just like. So to me, it makes sense, and they stretch it out, and they make you suffer with her. Like it didn't bother me. Is this movie subtle? No.
No.
This movie is not subtle.
No.
It is indulgent. It is heavily stylized. There is music over everything. Everything.
And not
there is not
subtlety.
There is.
It is loud, bling, bling, bling.
And it does calm down a little bit, but or those opening scenes, like they play like this, like a summer place music or something. I don't even really know what I'm talking about.
Like
when the teacher sits down, they start playing music that goes, "She's a kind teacher."
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You either don't need the dialogue and just play a little bit of this music and cut out after 2 seconds, or don't play the music and give me the dialogue.
Right.
But it's I mean, it's the beginning. It's a different kind of movie. It's this sort of like. It is. I read a thing where that classified it partly as a comedy, which is weird. But
because of Travolta.
That scene is
who is honestly
hilarious.
One of my look. I'm gonna rip
this
this movie apart, but there were moments I enjoyed. Travolta being a lot of them.
Yeah. So the movie to me is over the top, but it is like it's like I don't know. It's almost like a Giallo kind of like Suspiria, which I haven't seen, but like that's sort of like just the blood is super red and everywhere. I mean, it's not subtle, but it's not trying to be. And it's just kind of putting it out there and making it. Everything is big. I mean, when we're suffering with her, it's sticking with it, and it's making us sit there and suffer with her, and she is shrieking about it.
Yeah.
When her mom is overbearing
Yeah.
and crazy, she is overbearing and crazy, and Sissy Spacek is sitting there with gigantic eyes, and she's amazing. They were both nominated for Oscars. I totally get why. She's just.
I thought the mom was great. The mom
Piper
felt
Laurie,
like she felt like she knew what kind of movie she was in, and she just ate it up. And she did. Anytime she was on screen, I was like, "Cool, I'm in."
I like every single performance. I enjoy. I think the acting. I think the performances in that movie are in the midst of all this like stylish. Kind of overwroughtness, maybe. Just this excess. I think they're what keep it grounded because I'm interested in those characters.
Here's the thing, and this goes back again to the directing, and sometimes it's hard to pinpoint what bad directing is. Here's an example. I felt like you're right. I felt like almost everybody was giving good performances, but everybody was giving good performances in a different kind of movie. Like Sissy Spacek was super subtle,
really great.
Opening scene aside, where she played it very reserved and like it was very inward, and it was great and it was wonderful. Her mom was in a completely different kind of movie. Her date that takes her to prom. I thought he was
great.
Awesome.
I thought he was great.
I thought he was awesome.
It's William Catt,
and I have no idea who that is.
He's the greatest American hero, and he's in Butch and Sundance.
Really?
The early years. I mean, the TV show Butch and Sundance, and he is. This is interesting. Let's just to derail.
But
it
I
for a
felt
second.
he was great.
He was great.
Yeah,
go.
Sorry, no.
No. Yeah. No, I see, and
none of it meshed together. None of the performances like meshed together. Everybody was at a different tonal level, and I'm talking about within the same scenes. Like it just felt like everybody was doing their own thing, and it did not feel cohesive to me.
That's very interesting because I've certainly felt that way about films.
Yeah,
but I did not feel that way about this. I felt like it was all part of the same. Heightened everything.
You were just like, this is terrible. I'm just gonna give myself over.
No, I really enjoyed it. I don't know. Now I don't know what the effect was of reading your text and being like, I'm gonna destroy it, and going like, all right, this is gonna be fun. But like, I thought everyone was part of it. All of it was, and I think Sissy Spacek is fantastic in this movie. and very realistic. I don't know that I'd call it subtle, because there are parts where she because anytime
that's not the word. Realistic is probably a better word.
And very grounded, and so is, I mean,
because her mom, you can't call that realistic. That's theatrical acting to a T.
But great.
She's going for the rafters, and it's awesome.
And it's
great.
And I agree. I agree. But she's going, no, Mama, no, and she's like, you this and this, and then
right.
I mean, but it. I think it all works, and gosh darn it, that because it's funny you mentioned this scene. There's a scene with Nancy Allen, who's Officer Lewis in RoboCop, the female cop in RoboCop, and is just this just very lovely Farrah Fawcett looking horrible bitch person.
Oh man,
who just doesn't exist in real life.
Oh man, because so evil.
Because here's the deal: there's a scene where, I don't know if we're gonna. Everyone knows how it ends. We've all seen it. Because there's a moment where she goes like, "Oh, Chris, tell me." She's like, "No, I'll tell you later." And she's like, "Tell me what we're gonna do. What's your plan?" Yeah. He says like, "Tell me." Yeah. And she goes, "Okay." And at that point, the girl should have gone.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I thought we just huh? You what? You broke into a pig farm, slaughtered a pig, drained it of its blood, brought that bucket back over the fence.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's just it's crazy because the level of hatred from scene one is just she hates her to an unmanageable degree. It is so and one of my favorite scenes, but let's just
it's really too much effort for a prank. Yeah. I mean,
we talk about
it's so specific and strange. It clearly
when she gives John Travolta a BJ,
yeah.
Which we gotta go. We gotta dissect.
This is the best scene. And that's the best scene. It's so hilarious because it's so. Oh gosh. Because so.
Yeah. Set it up.
Because so they're driving. So basically, Nancy Allen, who again, I mean, it's a testament to her as an actor because she is entirely different in RoboCop. Entirely. And her boyfriend is John Travolta. In his first film role, coming off of Welcome Back, Kotter, and they're both just very, very, lovely, attractive people, and John Travolta, bless him, is just that character's as dumb as a rock.
Dumb as a rock.
My gosh, and but I mean, I think that's part of it. He's
they
really
even address it in the car scene.
Well, she says it all the time, yeah.
And she's
but I think it's part of just sort of and Stephen King said that that De Palma went even further into kind of analyzing the ant farm of high school, people just being cruel to each other, and it is kind of it's maybe a little bit over the top, but maybe it isn't. But I think that stuff kind of happened. Now, Pig Blood is insane.
Well, no.
And Pig Blood smacks me as Stephen King coming up with that and then going this girl thought of it. I'm like, no, she didn't.
I mean, no, she didn't.
She's a serial killer.
I can understand it, but again, back to the directing.
Sure.
He,
ramps it up.
It's you can't start at not even 10 or 11, but he starts at 15 and then you're just at 15 the whole time and you're like, yeah, aren't girls bad? It's give me some ups and downs so when it really goes bad, you really feel it. Because by minute 2, I'm like, I am numb because it's just so crazy awful.
That's really interesting.
It's just they're terrible people.
They are.
2.5. Literally in that opening shot, it goes up to her face, she blows the volleyball thing, and I can't remember. Someone walks by. I think it's her, and she walks by, and does she slap her? And she goes, "You fucking bitch."
Yeah. Just, Carrie, you're a piece of shit. It's what?
You're like, whoa.
I mean, it really is. But I mean, everything. See, and it's interesting because to me, everything is cranked to 11, and I'm like, sure, rock and roll, whatever. Now, I mean, to be honest, this to me is I see why it's a horror classic. I understand that it's a classic horror film. And I'm like, great. I'm not gonna go. It's a transcendent piece of art or something.
No, yeah, right.
I think it is. I think it's meant to be, and I don't know that De Palma like thinks it is, or was intending to kind of do that, like make a truly moving. I think he's just kind of like,
no.
Look at this crazy paperback about a
Yeah.
girl who gets picked on and mind explodes everyone.
I think he saw a trashy pulp novel.
Yeah.
Because again, this is Stephen King's first
it is.
Screen translation, and
Yeah.
so
It's
no one really knew who he was. He only got
Sure.
$2,500 for the entire book rights and everything. Like,
Yeah.
so I thought, and like up till this point, De Palma had just been. I mean, De Palma directed porn before he got into movie making.
Did he really?
Yeah, and so he had done a couple of trashy movies.
Makes sense.
And so I think he saw an opportunity to explore some more techniques in terms of like, you know, Hitchcock is clearly his favorite director,
Sure.
and just exploring more technical shit
Mm-hmm.
and applying artistic technical stuff to a really trashy book. That's what it felt like.
I really wanna. It is based on a true story. I want to watch a De Palma porn. I really do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you think the wave collapse function means about the nature of reality? The wave collapse function? Could you? I'm dumb. You might have to tell me what that is. Implying porn is not transcendent art. I mean, sure it is.
Whoa, sorry.
No wonder the intro scene was so long.
But again,
Lamongus, thanks for the raid.
I
What's up?
didn't like this movie, but I thought the intro shot was one of the better parts of the movie in terms of like
There is some really
artistically like getting across like, because this movie is about becoming a woman,
Sure.
and like there's all these like metaphors for like, you know,
yeah.
throughout the whole movie, and using the telekinesis and that character to
Yeah, it manifests.
explore becoming a woman in high school and like the horrors of that and blah 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 and the traumas of that or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that like any good idea he has in this movie is he takes it too far, or he stays with it for too long, or it's just buried underneath 7 other decisions that are so awful to me that come before or like immediately after. It's just, and like the music's so loud it just drowned out scenes, and it's just like ugh.
It is. It is. The music use is copious and constant. But there's I don't know. I mean, I think that's a product of its time. I think he maybe pushed it more. I think it just all kind of, I don't know. I just went with it for whatever reason. It's
Yeah.
this big sort of like super over the top. It really blew by the movie for me. It seemed really quick. See, that's really interesting. That's interesting.
And that's the thing is like I thought I was gonna enjoy this, and so
Yeah.
I mean, no joke, 5 minutes in I was like, this
Okay.
is not good.
That's really interesting. I mean, I'm not, and again, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of another movie I could compare it to in terms of, I mean,
And let me be clear. There are De Palma
Sure.
movies that I do like.
sure.
You know, I think Mission
Mission 6, 7.
Impossible is
It's great.
probably. I mean, it is. It's great.
It's fantastic.
The Untouchables, even some of his trashier stuff like Dress to Kill, or I don't know. He's done so many movies.
Yeah, I've seen woefully few of them.
But like I can get behind it, and I understand his style, and it really isn't for me. Like it's not. I don't consider him one of my favorite directors at all. I've never really gotten the cred and why people want to work with him so much, like Carlito's Way and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, I
never saw
don't know.
Carlito's
It's just
Way.
like it's not. None of it's working for me.
Scarface.
Scarface.
He's not a subtle director, but
not.
but there's room. I mean, there's certainly room for that. I feel like
There-
I
yeah,
think that's a valuable thing. Now
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you have to. Yeah, certainly do that.
It's just that it's not
I mean-
even the I'm all for In Your Face. Like I like Tarantino, but I think I
Yeah.
just like the way Tarantino puts together a movie way
Yeah.
more than how I don't like. He's got like these traits that he uses in every single movie. These things that he returns to, like the camera diopter effect, And which
What is that? I don't know.
It's where the screen split and
Yeah.
it's everything's in focus, but there's a little bit of a blur.
Yeah.
Split screens.
You use twice. It's a very interesting thing.
It's a very interesting effect. It's so up its own arse in terms of like, hey, I'm filmmaking. Like he loves doing long, complicated dolly shots and things like that. Like Snake Eyes, that's another one. That's definitely. I will give this the opening shot of Snake Eyes, which is like 20 minutes long. It's crazy, and it sets up the whole movie.
Wow.
It's very impressive.
Wow.
And it's all about a boxing fight where someone gets assassinated, and it is super awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, but I think I've seen that.
And Nick Cage sells that scene beautifully, and it's really cool. But yeah, most of the time it just doesn't work for me.
It's interesting, and I think that's totally fair. They're, and I'm not, again, like I've seen so few, like I need to watch Blowout.
Oh, okay, that's a great movie. Blowout's a great movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. It's still crazy over the top by the end, but it's really good. And all those effects that he uses work very nicely with like dissecting a scene Rashomon style from a bunch of different angles and things. It works.
I think it's interesting. Tarantino is an interesting comparison because I think he is he's not in every way, but he kind of hits this sort of, he's reasonably close in terms of like the marriage of like highbrow and lowbrow. Like I think it's because I was like Rodriguez, but like not quite, not really.
No.
It's not. It's more like Tarantino.
It is. That's a perfect.
It's because I think but I think where Tarantino goes for dialogue stylization, De Palma goes for visual stylization.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Tarantino stuff is visually stylized too sometimes, but I mean it is. But he like, I think he takes material that like interests him and has some provocative elements, and then just kind of goes, I'm gonna art this up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, but not like restrained art this up. I'm gonna.
He's going for maximum effect.
Yeah.
At all times, and I guess I view that as somewhat of a weakness as a filmmaker, in terms of the profession, because I feel like, and as a storyteller, I view that as a weakness, because if you're just gonna be here all the time, it's just like, it's hard. You just get numb really quick, and you're just like, oh my god, I was just annoyed with Carrie, and like he doesn't do it all the time. Like I know it's one of his more popular films, but I think there's a reason. Like I think Mission Impossible is probably his best film, just because like I felt like a lot of the stuff that he does in every other movie he didn't really do. I mean, it's all there, but it's all very restrained for the most part.
Yeah, it's interesting that yeah. It's weird that he toned down his style to do a palatable blockbuster. I mean, it's interesting. Like it's more than palatable. Mission Impossible is freaking great. Like
it's great. I love that.
To
me, it's still the best Mission Impossible, and I just saw Fallout a couple weeks ago. It's great, but like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's Cole. Thank you for the raid and the gifted sub, my friend. Goodness gracious. Thank you. Subscription. Jetty, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Lowbro Corps, my friend. And thank you. That's Colt. What are you up to, dude? What is going on? Subscription. Thank you, dude. So we've been all around, but let's get to that scene. Not the scene that you would think that we were talking about if we go the scene in Carrie.
Right.
Let's talk about the scene. So this finished math. Oh, I was like math stream. That's crazy. Thank you so much. That's Colt. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for that gifted sub. Thank you for your support. I hope your stream went wonderfully. What were you doing? Let me know. We're gonna talk about this scene. So Chris is like this ringleader, right? She's like she's
Head of the cheerleading.
I mean, I don't even. Is she a
Is
cheerleader? I don't. Who knows? She's dating.
Seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is.
That's what she is.
It's
She's the
that
evil,
girl,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Crap ops too. Noise. What's up, Divine? Bench 3. I just wanted to brag that I benched 350 in front of my wife. Nice. Unfortunately, in the video I recorded, you're in your underwear.
Post it.
Boom. All the more reason. And you gotta have something on there in case, like just lifting that massive amount. That's incredible. 350 pounds. That's crazy.
Dude,
yeah.
It's crazy.
I feel like you got to at least have that covered because you could burst a pipe or something and piss all over you. Sorry. But hey, man, that's freaking awesome. I like that your wife was there too. That's great. And you're just like, you like that, honey? You like that?
She's like, I do.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah. You want to bring the Fiat in here? I'll lift that.
Yeah.
I'll lift the smart car. Woot woot. Yeah, I love you too, man. Thank you, dude. So, head mean girl, right? Head cheerleader, horrible. Like literally, I want to spin off about that character.
Yeah.
Who was like, I know how to get her back. We got ground. I mean,
she's a psychopath.
She's insane.
She's an actual psychopath.
Because she goes, nah, Carrie, blah blah blah, and they're like, and the PE teacher's like, you got to stop picking on Carrie, and she's like, no, and then she was like, you have PE detention for the whole week, and then she's like, I don't want to do it, and then she's like, you're not going to prom, and she's like, I'm gonna slaughter an animal and put its blood and bodily fluids in a bucket and pour it on her after making sure that she comes to prom and orchestrating her winning of the prom queen, just right in front of everyone, and you go, good sweet mother of yikes.
And all she had to do was, because she did all the detention until there was 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes left, she says, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore.
And she
gets slapped by the coach. A lot of slapping going on.
Yeah, that coach really likes to like beat up on girls.
Yeah, very physical.
And like scream at them.
Multiple times she does it.
Yeah, and because you're like she's cool,
she's
right?
Like, Carrie, get a hold of yourself. You're having your period.
Slap. Yeah, you're crazy. And then and then she's like, I wanted to slap her too. I wanted to grab, and you're like, you did slap.
You did do that.
You slapped your student. And then they all go to detention, and she's like, I'm not gonna do it. And she walks off, and she's coming off, and she just goes. She decks her in the face and goes, huh? And she's like, it's real. She can't do that anymore. You got to knock it off. You're being real shitty to Carrie, you bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Not quite, but it's basically like that.
It was wild.
You're like, whoa, man. Whoa, you're crazy. And she's like, you can't hit me, you bitch. And she's like, give me another, or she's like, whatever. She just tosses.
And she basically turns to the other girls and she's like, you guys want a little piece of what I just gave her?
Look. We don't see that.
And then she's like, the next scene, she's like, she's supposed to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, she's the sweet
and I'm like,
teacher.
You're also crazy.
That is really insane. Anyway, all that happens. And then she's like, I'm going to get Carrie back. And then she's driving with John Travolta away from school.
Who's like the jock, the really dumb, popular jock guy.
Yeah.
And like they pass, they're driving in the car and like three cars pass them. And each one he's like, hey, you going to the thing tonight? He's like, nah, man, I'm going to be with my chick, but give me one of them beers,
and they
bro.
toss the beer, and he catches it, and he's like, Mr.
And he's like, all right. Yeah. And he's like, all right, see you, man.
Yeah.
And then another person comes up. And
three girls drive up, and they're like,
he's like, yeah, hey, I am good looking. She's like, all right, bye.
Yeah.
And
this
then
is my life.
And the cop comes up already with a flashlight out.
Yeah.
And Travolta's
and he's
drinking
like
a beer.
shotgunning her.
And he's like, oh, man.
And he's like, and he throws it at her. That's right, I forgot.
She's like, oh.
She says, you stupid shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, don't call me that.
It's weird how he does it. Because he's like, hey, don't call me that. And he's like, hey, don't call me that.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
yeah.
But it goes, call me that.
But the sound effect is, it's rawhide. He goes, hey. And she goes, she's like, well, you're being a stupid shit. And he goes, I told you not to call me that.
And he's
and she goes, you dumb fuck, or whatever. And he's like, hey. And then like it literally cycles around like 3 times where this is the conversation. He's like, blah blah blah. And he's like, man, whatever. And she's like, you're a stupid shit. He's like, hey, I told you not to do that. And
Yeah.
she's like, it's like, man, you fucked up, man. You were fucked up. I didn't know it, but now I know it. It's just it's the craziest.
And it just
And
keeps
then she
going.
goes, and then she goes, oh, come on. Oh, hey. And she like starts kissing on him. And he's like, oh, okay. Okay. And then he kisses her a little bit. And then she like, and he goes,
this is when they're parked.
Yeah. And then he's like kissing on her. And then she does, or pulls off and he's like, hey. And then kiss. Hey,
This is when.
what's wrong with you?
So,
you're a dumb
okay.
bitch. And then she's like, you're a dumb shit. And it's just like
And then he
over
slaps
and
her again.
over.
And this was the scene where I paused it, and I stood up.
You can't recreate it. It's amazing.
And my girlfriend was downstairs, and I told her I was going to go upstairs to watch it, and I was like, I'm really excited. I've never seen it. And I just yelled to her, and I was angry at this point. I was like, I don't know what I'm watching.
great.
Because this scene is insane. Like, how crazy she is in this scene. I really felt terrible for John Travolta, because I'm like, I think she has bipolar disorder. Not even that. She has multiple personalities.
It's every 6 seconds it's split.
Yeah.
But it's,
because
I thought it was.
She's like, I fucking hate you. She's like, but I love you.
Yeah. Well, that would have even made more sense. I just kind of was like, what is this writing?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Right, yeah.
Because then it keeps going
It
back.
was. That does make too much.
And,
yeah.
and I was like, and then she's like, oh, it's just like, oh gosh,
the
I
second
can't.
he gets mad, she's like, ugh.
She's like, hey, come on.
Come on,
And then she goes, and then she comes down, starts, it's like, drops below the sea, this is my favorite
He's
part.
like very confused. He's just like,
He's like, what are you doing? Okay, that's cool. You
like,
can
oh,
do
yeah,
that.
okay,
and
you
it
gonna
goes,
blow
and
me?
there's
Okay.
very audible zap.
There's a huge zipper noise.
Yeah. And then like,
And then we've got to talk about this moment.
he goes, this is the best.
This is the best.
Oh, I'm glad it's the same thing.
It's
because then she's,
I was so confused.
because then she's like, sorry, but it's right here.
Her
She's
head
like
is bobbing
up
like
and down.
she's giving him a BJ.
And then he's going, oh, you, Mr. Carter, Horseshack. And then, and then, clear as a bell, she goes, what's his name, Johnny? Tommy?
Yeah.
Tommy, we need to talk. And Bob.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is she doing
And
down there?
I just went to my wife and I go, she can't talk right now.
Yeah.
She can't talk right now.
It should have been like,
I'm sorry, not to be crude, but like,
I mean, that's what it was happening. She should have been like, that's what it should have been. And it wasn't. It was weird.
and I feel like even on the track you can hear a different track engage. It sounds like, I mean, it's obviously ADR.
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
like, but I mean, like you can.
But
actually,
the whole time I'm just like, if she's not doing that,
Yeah.
then what is she doing?
She's doing
down
that.
there?
She's doing
and
that.
why is he reacting like this?
Yeah.
He's like, oh God. And you're like, she is talking down
she's
there,
and she's going supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't have a problem. I can totally enunciate, and it's.
And then it did end on a great moment that I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, what was
'cause
it?
She ends. She just goes, "I hate Carrie White." Like her anger gets him off.
While she's blowing him, it's great because sorry, this got really out of. But this is what it is. We're literally talking about the scene while she's blowing him, speaking perfect English, like freaking. Eliza Doolittle after the whole thing. Anyway, she's going blah blah blah, and she's talking, and then she does go like. She just stops. There's a pause, and she goes, "I hate Carrie White," and Travolta goes, "Who?" Cut.
And then it just cuts to the next scene.
He just goes, "Yeah, it's great." Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. I was like, is she telepathically communicating with them?
Oh man, it was so.
They should do.
They need to break that scene down.
They need to do a spin. Well, I honestly think it was like almost part of me is like, they're.
It was one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen. In terms of like so much weird stuff happening, like it was so insane to me.
That scene is one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen. It's so hilarious. But I almost feel like it was a, and this may be, there's got to be stuff on this online. I almost feel like it was a function of it being 1976 and they're having to not quite admit that she was blowing him.
Oh, you think so? Like it was a ratings
But it makes
thing?
no sense. Because
it doesn't make any sense.
And he's going, meh, meh. I mean, they're not.
And that would make sense because then there's like, all right, we'll just throw in her saying, I hate Carrie White. Because I really did. I was like, that feels like the kind of movie this needs to be the entire time.
Yes.
Because that was so insane, but it made me laugh.
It's the kind of thing where, gosh. But that's what makes it so fun. Like, this movie is super fun.
I stopped it, and I was like, this is insane.
And
then I went back, because I was like, I gotta process this, so I'm gonna rewatch this. So I watched that scene twice, because I stopped it halfway through. I was like, I'm gonna give this the full go. Yeah. And I went back to the beginning of the scene, then I watched it all the way through, and it was the most enjoyable scene of the entire movie for me.
But the whole movie is like that in a couple different, in a number of different ways. It's like every scene... Gosh, literally every scene is like, okay, so like picture, it's like they were like, okay, we read the scene in the script, and then picture it in a normal movie, and then just crank it up 8 notches.
Yeah.
And then go a little further. And it's great. It's everything is to 11, and it's interesting to watch a movie that is that bold sometimes. And it's just a lot of fun for me. It's a lot of fun.
But it's just so weird because none of this has ever been mentioned. Whenever I've heard about Carrie, it is talked about like it's a great horror movie. There's no asterisks next to it like, oh, it's crazy overwrought direction and it's cranked to 11 and blah 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 blah. They're just like, no, that's one of the pillars. And I'm like, really?
But I mean,
and again, I'm really usually really good at contextualizing like the era in which the movie I'm watching and trying to process it through that. But like we've done so many movies from the 70s now that I'm like, that doesn't, and I know it's I'm kind of versed in De Palma's filmography, so it's just like, and even having all that knowledge, I was just like, this is batshit insane.
It is, but bear in mind though that we've been watching all the new Hollywood stuff.
True.
All this great, like, subtle stuff. We are now, this is 76, we're edging toward the 80s, which is the time of, I mean, if you compare this to Friday the 13th, Halloween, I mean, Freddy Krueger, I mean, this is not, although it fits in with those.
This makes Halloween, though, look like like the most subtle art film of all time. I mean Halloween is to me, is actually a very artful film. Yeah, it ushered in the slasher era, but, like, Friday the 13th, and I love that series, but that's what made slasher movies dumb slasher movies. That's the franchise, not the Halloween until the sequels. But
but
anyway.
I mean, like, in terms of like, but I mean, in terms of like, I would rather watch Carrie again than Halloween.
That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. You broke me. How can, like, what? I've seen Halloween, like what? That's...
I guess...
and again, this all comes
I'll
down
watch
to...
it. Maybe I need to watch Halloween again. It's been a long time.
I don't blame anybody for anything they're doing in this. I think everybody brought their A game to this movie. Yeah. I blame one person. It is almost a classic example for me of like, oh, that's what bad directing is. Because sometimes it's really hard to pinpoint like what that is. And I watched this movie and I'm like, there is a good movie in here with a good plot, and he just ruined it with his stylized nonsense where he elongated where he should have shortened, and he went loud when he should have went quiet, and like every single thing was just like, it was like I was watching a Shyamalan movie post The Village, where I was just like, I don't even know, is this bad or is it just like, what? Every creative decision just felt wrong to me.
That's interesting. Because I think if he had gone quiet where he went loud, and if he had not,
it wouldn't be as memorable.
It's just a different movie. It's an entirely differend movie.
Sure.
And I think, I mean, he's got some really nice wonders. I love the, like, and it's all this stuff like the what'd you call it? Double diode? What'd you call it?
It's like a
dioptic.
A diopter.
Anyway, if you watch the movie, you'll know there are two scenes. There's one where Tommy might be the blonde kid. I don't remember. Tommy might be William Cat. I can't remember. But there's one scene where his poem is being read, and his face is giant in close up, right in the foreground, and then Carrie is several seats behind him in the background, and like the focus is on both of them. Yeah, you can even like Google image it. And she's small and he's large, but it's great. It's and they're both in focus. And they also do it when the it's very nice to me. They do the same thing when the PE teacher is kind of barking orders at them facing forward and they're like behind her, and it's her, it's she's large and they're small kind of right here. And if you think about it logically, you're like, she's 100 yards away from them. That's really weird that she's that far, but it's a cool shot. And especially in that poem scene, you get to see it's a nice shot, and it's very motivated because you get to see his reaction, which is what you're kind of focusing on. His reaction to what she's saying. Exactly. There you go. Yeah. His reaction to what is being read that she said, because she says it's beautiful. She says the poem that he wrote is beautiful, that he quote unquote wrote. The teacher's talking. And it's that shot while the teacher, Cheswick from
Cheswick showed up.
I saw him in that, and I was like, he just is insane. Like, he just,
that's just
like they cast him really well. Or he's talking about like, beautiful, Carrie. You think his poem is beautiful? Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. And it's on his face, which is his face is large because we want to see his reaction to and then she's in the background just kind of doing. It's a really nice shot. It's very motivated. Mm-hmm. I love it. And they kind of do a similar thing again with the PE teacher and it's this sort of thing where she's like barking orders and they're kind of, and that's like whatever. The themes are aren't necessarily strong, yeah. But it's an interesting. That one's one.
There's always in the background the Carrie kids shit graffiti. Oh, it's the kids
outside. Exercising.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, there are just times where you're like, who are these kids?
It's just like that is.
Like honestly, like if Reagan from The Exorcist walked through a scene and went, "Oh, hey, Carrie, your mother's not talking now," and you'd be like, "Yeah, that fits." Yeah. That's like, and they'd be like, "Hey, Reagan, come hang out with us." Yeah, Carrie's a dumb bitch, right? And you're like, "What? What is wrong with you?" It really is cartoonish and over the top, but so is everything in this movie, and I dig it. I'm glad it exists. It's fun. It's more fun than it's not. I guess there are horror movies that try to be like, we know we're a horror movie, and so we're just gonna like just like it's gonna be really small and really serious and whatever. Right. And like there's certainly a place for that, and taking yourself really seriously. I don't think Carrie takes itself that seriously.
No.
I think Carrie goes, this is a fun kind of crazy pulpy story, and we're gonna treat it as such.
And that's fine.
And we're gonna take it, and we're gonna care about our characters, and like you feel for Carrie, I feel for Carrie, like. The stuff that she goes through is awful, and there's this beautiful, like, I mean, very kind of oft mentioned slow motion, suspenseful, like long sequence of stuff as we get ready to. I mean, as we lead right up to the point where the pig blood drops. Oh, you mean the
35 minutes of build up to the blood falling? It's not fine.
It's totally fine. You hate it?
Drawn out to the most insane degree that I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
You don't like it?
I didn't.
Here's the deal.
I liked it. Look, like anything in this movie, I was like, I like it, and then 6 minutes passes, and I'm like, cool, still hasn't made it to the stage. Oh, everybody's still clapping? That's cool. It just didn't. It just kept going.
This is
and
what
it just kept
it
going.
does. This is what I'm saying. I think, and here, this might be. I think this might be, because to me, if you break it down, if you like do like a blow by blow treatment of the movie, and it just goes, kid gets picked on, kids are jerks, they go get a pig, they kill a pig, bring the blood, whatever, blah blah blah. They engineer it so she's prom queen. They pour pig blood on her. She fries them.
Yeah.
I go, okay. Fine. I'm like, interesting, cool.
Like, we're gonna need to pad this out with some filler.
Well, possibly, but also it kind of makes it go. This is important to the character. This is important. This is a huge dramatic moment.
I agree.
And if it doesn't do that, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't really care that much. So it's kind of like it's almost like it exposes how not really deep the subject matter is.
It does, but here's the thing. I thought that there was enough subtext to be looked into that I was like, there is enough. That's why.
Sure, yeah.
On that level,
I
was like, on a
That's
story
fair.
level, I'm like, yeah, there's enough there, more
Sure.
than most horror movies. It's that, and I was like, yeah, and that sequence required a slow motion build up, and I was like, I'm into this, and I
But
think
it
it's
just
great.
hit a
And
point
I'm
of
like, and then I'm like, cool. So
diminishing returns.
and,
Yeah.
and it required 2 minutes to effectively do that.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes pass, and we're just getting to the girlfriend, Amy Irving,
Yeah.
coming in, and then there's like another 4 minutes where she like has to figure out that there's a fucking rope next to her. She got to follow that up, and then all the way back down. Oh, and then she's like, oh, it's okay. We went up and then down, and then I'm gonna go, and then they like reverse back up, and then she follows it back down.
Yep.
And then it goes to
True.
like, she's like, okay, and it just kept going, and I was just like, this is not suspenseful buildup.
Yeah.
This is unbelievably, like, I'm so in love with the shots, because it's beautifully filmed, and it's all very well put together, but
Yeah.
it just keeps going, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you could have told this in half the time,
It could have.
and it would have been far better for it.
It's interesting because to me, because I was into it.
Yes, 1/4 the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, and I absolutely 100% agree. But I think this is a case where you respond to it the way you're going to respond to it, and then if you dig it, then everything else is just, if you're into it and you're like, cool,
Yeah.
everything else is going to build on it.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to that point, you're like, oh man,
Right,
like
right.
cool, and like and it's this sort of gleeful, almost kind of like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
But if you don't respond to it, or if you go, if it just doesn't
And to be fair,
hit you on this level, then everything is just going to be irritating.
and I will to be fair, it's the famous scene from this movie, so I knew what was going to happen.
But it shouldn't be. The famous scene should be the I'm talking with.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
With a dick in my
with
mouth.
Yeah, but it's.
But when this movie first came out, that was a build-up, and like when she whispers into her ear, like you didn't really know,
you have no
you didn't
idea.
know what the pig was, you didn't know, like you're like, wow, that's crazy that he just killed a pig, but you don't know that like the bucket is a reveal,
Yeah.
and so you're discovering it with Amy Irving, and so I can, so in that sense, I'm like, okay, so maybe you would pay more attention and you would get more out of it, and you would start to you would buy it more, and maybe the time would pass faster because so maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're not. No. I mean, I think you can only watch it in the time and context within which you watch it. You can kind of.
I still think it could have been shorter.
Sure, absolutely, but
And
that's not.
still keep all of it, but
that's
still be shorter.
But that's not Carrie. Carrie.
Yeah.
This movie is not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to do that. It's going to stretch everything out and kind of. Yeah, I was going to mention that.
What? Oh yeah, I heard about the rehearsals. I did not know that Carrie Fisher.
I think that's actually not true. I think that's been
Is that an urban legend?
debunked. Now, what did happen was that, according to what I read, is that Carrie, and this is fascinating to me, Carrie De Palma was casting Carrie at the same time that George Lucas was casting New Hope, and they had joint auditions.
Yeah.
They had joint auditions, and Amy Irving was up for Leia. And William Catt, who plays her boyfriend, the blonde-headed boyfriend, was pretty close to getting Luke. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, so
Oh, he would have been great.
yeah, I agree.
He would have been really great.
I totally agree. Like 100%.
Boy, do you think they look back and they're just
Alternate
like,
universes
yeah,
somewhere
crazy.
else. Somewhere else, yeah. And somewhere
He would have been a fantastic Luke.
he really would have. Like really, really would have.
Yeah, he would have been fantastic.
And so somewhere in some alternate universe,
I love Mark Hamill, but I think he would have been a better Luke. I love Mark Hamill. I love his voice acting career.
Yeah.
I love him as Luke. But
I was
now
gonna
that
say
you're
is-
saying that, that would have
I
been
know.
pretty cool.
I had the same thought. That may be sacrilege. And Mark Hamill's fantastic, but I'm like, I want to see William Catt's take at it. That's interesting. And maybe in that same alternate universe, William Catt voices the Joker.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But Mark Hamill's Joker is Like to me, Mark Hamill's greatest role is the Joker. He's so great. He's so great as the Joker. My gosh.
His entire voice acting career is. I've been revisiting
the Cockknocker.
The Cockknocker, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh God. I've been revisiting the '90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Good.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And did you know Mark Hamill voices Hobgoblin?
No, that's awesome though.
And I know that because the second he appeared in one of the episodes, he sounds just like the Joker. And I was like, is this? And then I looked it up and it was. Yeah. And I was like, huh. Yeah. And it's almost like he like tried him out there and then he did it in Batman.
Yeah. Then Mark Hamill as the Greatest American Hero would have been interesting. I feel like I may have watched The Greatest American Hero, but never.
I don't even know what that is.
Really, I don't. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I don't even know if it was on. Yeah, I don't know.
And then Amy Irving dated Spielberg.
Absolutely, she had one
were
one
they
or
married?
two. They were married.
Yeah.
And I had it backward. I thought that he ended up with her, and then Kate Capshaw was first, but it was her then Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
Willie and Temple of Doom, the greatest Indiana Jones film. All right, so let's move on.
We're just gonna gloss right over that. Wow.
Have you seen? No, it has.
I love Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
But that's a bold thing to say.
It holds a very special place in my heart. It is the one.
Did I know that? Have we talked about that?
Yeah, I mean, like honestly,
you like it more than Raiders?
More than Raiders, I think. Last Crusade is now that I've seen that more, I'm kind of like, oh, it's tough to beat that. Tough to beat Last Crusade.
I love Last Crusade. I've seen Last Crusade more than any of them, just because that was the one VHS we had in our household. I think Raiders is the best. I think Crusade's the most fun. Shit, I don't know if I could say that.
Temple of Doom
is a lot of fun.
And Temple of Doom is nuts, and I love it.
Temple of
Doom
is great.
Crazy.
It's great.
It's crazy.
But I take points off for Capshaw. Not necessarily her as an actor, but that character annoys me.
But she's supposed to.
It just still annoys me.
Yeah.
And
I guess she's not ultimately supposed to. Yeah, she's not ultimately
Short
supposed
Round. I wasn't a huge fan of Short Round, but.
Yeah. In one of the Kingdom Hearts games, Mark Hamill voices a master called Ericus and the Arrakis. I don't know. And the villain is voiced by Leonard Nimoy. It's pretty
cool.
Awesome. That sounds cool. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy voice acting. Like there's the voice cast for Skyrim, which I never played, is insane. It's like John Hurt, like Joan Allen, like crazy. Really? Crazy, really. Like I'm like, oh, whoa! I want to hear them. John Hurt? Yeah, John Hurt's in a couple of video games.
Cool. Got a good voice.
Her character is painfully unintelligent. Who?
Who are we talking about?
Willie. We're talking about Willie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's just supposed to. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, also, Amy. So this is interesting. This is something that I read. Amy Irving was married to Spielberg or dating him. Was gonna be Marion Ravenwood. They broke up. He cast Karen Allen instead. They got back together.
He cast Karen Allen, and then he got back together with Amy Irving.
Amy Irving again, and then they ultimately, I guess, divorced. But she was going to be Marion.
I could see that
Totally.
I could easily see that.
Yep. I mean, Karen Allen's fantastic.
I read that, and I wasn't going to mention this because this could not be true, but I had read that a lot of people weren't fans of their relationship, like other filmmaker people.
Yeah, maybe.
And that they were, and that at some point she was like, look, Steven's a brilliant filmmaker. I know that, but he doesn't make movies that I really want to be in. Like, she wanted to be an actress. That could be total bullshit, though, because it sounded very gossipy. But yeah, that's weird. If we're talking about her, though, and we're talking about him, we have got to unpack their motivation for... She's like, I won't go to the prom. And then you take him to the prom.
That was a weird...
I was trying to understand that motivation. To the bucket falling, I was like, is there like something I'm missing? Is there going to be a twist here?
No, yeah. It did seem like they skipped the moment where even the look, really. I mean, they kind of had...
You're talking about like
where she decided that I'm not a bitch. Like
at the very beginning when she's like the teacher.
No, well, she's with him.
Well, I know, but then
there,
the teacher like she's like, "Why are you doing this?" or something, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And then she kind of like because they keep cutting back to her after that. In that scene.
I feel like there was this. I feel like they threw in a look or something where she was like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, and then, but it almost wasn't. I was just kind of like, well, at what point though? Because that was.
It's like
it was weird. It almost was like if they needed like right at that moment where she's da 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 da, like they needed more of a just kind of like, oh, I'm really ashamed of myself, or
just not have her partake in that because then it could have. I just would have bought it instantly. Like there wouldn't have been any mass confusion because then. And I'm just talking about in the context of the edit as it is.
Sure. Because
it was very confusing for me.
I mean, I guess kind of like, I just was like, okay, that look was meant to encompass all of that and represent her change. And I'm just going to have to go with it because she's just... And
then the boyfriend's like totally cool with it. And then he kisses her at the prom.
Because he starts... Yeah. So he like... Yeah, like, I mean...
He was way too lax about it. He was just like, yeah, whatever. What is it, prom?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go. Yeah, sure. I'll do it. You gave me a look while you were studying, and you didn't really badger me about it. You were just like...
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah. And then
I'll go way out of my way to do this.
Takes her to prom, and then like Akasha was like, he did a good job of this. I was like, you mean the actor? And she's like, no, like as a boyfriend, he's doing a good job of like being kind to her. Like he genuinely is, and he genuinely is kind to her, and she's like, he's helping his confidence, and I was like, yeah, until he like doesn't date her after this, because like
I know that's all I could think about like, the whole time. I was just
I mean, they're 17, 27, but they're like, you know,
but that's what it was. That's what made me think. I was like, what am I missing here? Because don't they understand? And I was like, when they started kissing, I was like, but after this, she's gonna because she thinks that he is into her.
And he kind of is at that point.
And he kind of is. And then she comes in through the back and is like all smiley, like, oh, they won prom king and queen, my plan, which I don't think that was her plan, but she was like very happy about it. But I'm like, your boyfriend has been smooching on this really homely girl with telekinetic powers. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah. No.
And then after this is more like, honestly, for as crazy evil as everyone is, I'm like, that's probably gonna fuck her up even more so than anything else, because then that's the one where it's like, oh, everybody's slapping her on the face, but this one is like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then
borrow my boyfriend for a second.
Yeah.
For a night. I mean, it's really strange. It's
that
very...
felt evil to me too.
I mean, I think it's well intentioned. But it's like that sort of teenage thing where you go, or like child thing where you go, I'll do this, and you go, no, you don't do that. That's you're just doing that to make yourself feel better. It's not actually going to help. You need to stop and think about what it's actually going to help the person.
Yeah.
And what's going to help the person is just be your friend. Just talk to her.
And they even kind of had a scene where the teacher kind of says something.
Yeah.
It's not that logical, but it's something like, she's like, why are you doing
what are you doing?
that?
Yeah, exactly. She's like,
I'm
not stupid. Carrie's not stupid.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I like her, whatever. And it is interesting. And I wonder, because at the moment when he kisses her, at that point, it's like they've been setting it up for the last few seconds, at least, with that scene. And you kind of go like, at what point does he kind of go, not like, I don't for a second believe he's like, I'm going to leave Amy Irving for her, but it's just kind of like this is interesting. This is like a fun, it's like, I didn't expect this. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this weird, it makes me just want to like change the ending to like, she's all that, and like, and just kind of be like, and she's insane, and she's a monster. Carrie's psychokinesis. The Palma uses the psychoviolent, absolutely. For the initial temporary, yep, and Bates High School, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It is, but it is
which was also the high school, the real high school that Sissy Spacek, that was the name of her high school in Texas.
Bates?
Yeah.
Because
she was worked out both the ways. Like they were like, oh, cool, Bates Hotel, like Norman Bates. But I think that was the name of her. I think that's what I read.
Because she was actually homecoming queen.
She was homecoming queen.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
A couple other things from the prom sequence. Another thing was when he's like, "You want to dance?" and she's like, "Okay," and then they go dance, and he's like, "Cool, all right. Here's how we're gonna film this."
Yeah. Oh, that
We're
part
gonna
was a
do-
little nuts.
we're gonna do-
put him on a lazy Susan and
We're gonna put him on a lazy Susan.
give him a
and
whirl.
We're gonna wrap
and we're gonna
around
go the other
them,
way.
and they're like, "Brian, how long are we gonna do this for?" You're gonna do it way too long, and it's gonna get really annoying, and we're not even really gonna do it that well because the framing's pretty much garbage. And if we can accomplish all that, then I'll be doing my job on this movie.
Hot takes. Hot
I was
takes.
just like, it was a cool shot, and then it kept
and then it
going.
Yeah, Oh. Speaking of speeding up.
Oh, this is it. Okay, cool.
Speaking
Okay.
of speeding up.
This is the craziest part in this whole movie. Of all the craziness, of all the weird decisions that were made. Okay, go for it. It blew my mind, and I went back to that one too. And then I even read up on it.
I went back and I was like, that glitched.
Yeah,
But-
right. No.
No. But it's interesting. It's interesting. It's experimental. This is interesting.
It would be experimental if they did it 3 times. And it was like, oh, they're trying to do something. This is an experimental technique. One time at that moment in the
That's
film
a weird time to
was
do it.
like,
That's a
what
really
was
weird-
that? So
I don't know.
let's explain this to people.
So they take a guy. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna go get." It's the weirdest.
It's
First
so
of all, there's disco music, which makes sense for the time, but it goes like, "Bang, ticka, bang, bang, ba-ticka, bang, ticka, ding, bang, bang, ticka, ding." And then these 3 dudes are walking down the
it's
street.
a whole
One
like
of them is
dressing
one-
montage.
It's like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
And they're walking down the street and they go like, "Oh man, we gotta get tux." I'm not a tux guy. You gotta get a tux, man.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk. And like, it's
so weird.
This is. I love the.
and clearly improv, and not even.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, I mean, it felt like it, and it wasn't even bad. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. I like the actor who won't put a tux on. He
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
fun.
I just won't do it. He was like, well, what about the ruffles? Like, I'm not a ruffles. Like,
I'm
I
not a
enjoyed
Ruffles guy.
it.
It is fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
And then, so they're in the tux. They're in the tux shop, and the one guy's like, "Come on, man, wear a tux." He's like, "I don't want to." He's like, "Look, check it out." And it cuts, and he's like, "Look at me, check it. I look good." He does look good, man. He's like, "I'm not a Ruffles guy." And then cuts to the next guy. "Look at me, I look good." He's like, "I don't know, man. Whatever. What?" It fast forwards or rewinds or ramps up the speed and audio. I don't know why.
And it's just like that. You're like, yeah, and then you can do this, and then we'll do this, and it's just like, what just happened? It's very noticeable.
It's almost like they were like, we want to cut this, but we don't have a cutaway or something.
But then, I thought that.
I mean, but
and
that's
why I went-
not it. That isn't
And I
it.
went
That can't
back
be
and
it.
watched, and I was like, there was like, what was the reason for that? Like, they weren't trying to like match a music cue or it
just
get
kinda-
out of an edit. Like, it just went from one point to another. The dialogue that they were skipping to was a total. It was totally inconsequential.
I mean, the whole scene.
The whole scene was inconsequential. It was just a strictly played for laughs.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It was weird.
It is weird, but it makes me kind of. I mean, like, I don't like what. I mean, what are they trying to? Are they trying to? Because when it's something that strong, it's gotta. You gotta kind of be like, all right, well, people are gonna look for meaning in this because they should, because especially if it happens once, that's kind of nuts. Because it really stands out, but. I don't know. I mean, like, the only thing is, like, they're like, teenage, nothing matters. What teenagers matter, what teenagers say doesn't matter. This is all inane talk. Blah, blah, blah. But why do it that? Who knows? Like,
I see what you're saying.
But that can't be. That can't. I don't
That's
even.
not outplayed.
Like, it didn't. It's just. It was just so strange.
Because it didn't play long enough for it to be like that kind of. I know what kind of effect you're talking about.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm just grasping.
Yeah, oh, I know, but like it wasn't like a Benny Hill thing or anything like that. It was just it's like they skipped one line.
Yeah. Like, yeah. The thing, it was weird because it just was. It like I'm trying to think of a comparable scene to do it. I mean, it's like.
It was.
I mean, it's just it was the entire scene is excisable. Like, it's just you don't need it.
But it literally was like they were in the edit room and someone just went fast forward for 2.5 seconds. All right,
it
let's
couldn't
play.
it couldn't possibly be a mistake.
But it couldn't be a mistake. No,
it couldn't
no way.
possibly be something that they accidentally because I mean you watch dailies, you go or you have screenings, you have test screenings.
It sticks out like a massive
And it's on
sore
purpose.
thumb. Yeah.
It's on purpose. I don't know. I mean, it almost plays like something that it plays like something that happened by accident, except you couldn't because it's film. It's not in a digital editing medium.
No, they had to do stuff.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But what it plays like is if you were editing something and you accidentally put that effect on it, and then you were like,
And
why not? That's weird.
And they had to put that sound effect in.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Like that sound effect, that like when you had to speed up film in the 70s, like you got to do a process, and then like,
there's a
it's not
secondary.
there's a secondary track,
audio track,
and even if you speed it up, it's not gonna like you got to do work to accomplish this effect back then.
Well, that happens all the time in movies, but you just cut to someone else and replace the line, or you cut away, or you cut the whole thing out, or whatever. Like,
because if he did fuck up his line, they're like, well, we gotta skip over that. Then and there's like, well, what's the least jarring way? Do a jump cut and just cut it out.
Absolutely, and that happens all the time, especially in movies from the 70s. It's fine.
Yeah.
The speed up is a deliberate choice, and I don't know why. It's interesting. I've never seen it before, ever. I don't know that I'll ever see it again. It is something where if it happened at several points in the movie, it was just like, okay, that's a part of the style.
Yeah.
It is part of the style. It's weird that it happens only once.
Yeah.
That's very strange. It's interesting. It's something that makes the movie interesting to me. Like, that's the thing, is these things, I know that that's weird. It's a weird thing to try to come up with a justification for. I'd be interested to read about it.
So would I. Because right after the movie finished and I texted you, I typed into Google on my phone, I typed in CARRIE 1976 awful. Just to see if there was like a general consensus, and the first thing that popped up was all the things wrong with CARRIE in under 5 minutes, and it was a YouTube video, and that was one of the things that they pointed out. Another thing was like in the volleyball sequence that opens the movie, there's a clear like uneven number of players on each side. But
it's a PE class. That's the thing, is that's a legitimate, because that speed up thing is a definite deliberate choice that seems unmotivated and doesn't seem to mean anything and seem to just be thrown in there to make it interesting. Which, the thing is that, this movie...
It even worse.
But this movie lulls me, or just, there's so much... I care about the character. I care about CARRIE, kind of. I care about the story-ish, but not to the point where I'm like, they throw stuff in there and I'm like, okay, this makes it more interesting. I'm fine, whatever. I don't care. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It was like watching The Passion of the Christ, in terms of it was just an onslaught of torture, and then she gets hers at the end, or there's a vindication moment for her at the end, kind of.
I mean, it like Akasha mentioned, she was like, it's basically a school shooting movie, and I was like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting, so anyway, something like this is definitely something that you go what is this? Because that is a deliberate choice that threw me out of the movie for a second and made me go, what?
Which is why it's so confusing.
Exactly.
Because it was a fine scene.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's funny.
Yeah, it is fun, and it is fun and funny, but things like. I don't know, unless it's there are videos online that'll be like, if you see it burned in, and then in 1972 this CD's in the back and that CD hadn't come out yet, and there are uneven players. I think that if you're noticing stuff like that, then the movie. There are things like that sped up thing, or there are things like I was invested in the movie and then this narrative choice was made and it takes me out, and I'm like. Totally.
Right.
But if it's stuff like this doesn't make sense because actually in real life if it's not core to the plot, or it's not people go there are so many holes in Interstellar, there's so many holes in The Dark Knight Rises, there's so many plot holes, and first of all, most of the time they're not plot holes, as people have pointed out, but But I'm like, if you're picking these things, then this isn't what bothered you about the movie. You're not going, I love this movie, but I cannot stand that there are 7 people on one side and 6 people on the other side in this high school PE match. You know what I mean? Volleyball match. The people were either going, I'm going to make a video that's about this so people will watch it, or I'm always like, address what you don't like about the movie, which is you weren't engaged with the characters, you don't like the style of it, you don't like whatever. Something at the core level is not engaging you, which leaves your brain idle to kind of go, well, that I don't like that, I don't like that. And it's totally legitimate, but it's not. It doesn't. It's fine to do that, but I feel like far too many people are like, The Dark Knight Rises is a terrible movie, and I go, why? And they're like, because this happened, and earlier this didn't, and it's like this minor logistical sort of thing I'm like, no, and I'm not saying you're saying that.
I'm just saying
I'm responding to
the only thing that really bothered me was that there were an uneven amount of players on the volleyball team in the opening shot of the film.
No, I know. And I'm not saying, believe me that I'm not coming down on you. I'm just saying that in general, sort of the spirit of those videos and people.
I'm just saying I'm dug in. All right.
Yeah.
And my opinion will not change.
No, sure. And I get you. And I'm saying, because I do the same thing. If I watch a movie that I'm not engaged in, that I'm bored with, that I'm a little pissed off at, I do the same thing, and everything compounds and goes, screw this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So many people thought saying Martha was stupid.
Yeah.
Does that get you? Does that get your blood boiling?
It doesn't, because I 100% disagree, but it's fine. I just kind of go like, oh, weird. A wrong opinion. No, I don't know. To me, that was immensely effective, and I think I'm the only person on earth who felt that.
Okay. I'm gonna bypass all that.
Yeah.
Because I forgot about another thing.
Go for it.
Okay. So so there's the famous scene. There's not even. Okay. I'm gonna jump past that, and then I'm gonna circle back to the prom scene because I don't want this to leave my brain. After the prom scene, when Carrie is walking home, the girl, what's her name?
Chris tries to
goes
run her down.
Full on Mad Max, like Kurt Russell in Death Proof. Like there is a shot where she is like on the wheel like this, and she's like kind of going like this, and she sees Carrie walking down the road, and she like leans in over the steering wheel like you're in Mad Max Fury Road, and like she's like putting the pedal to the metal, and she tries to run Carrie over. And this is how they die, because then Carrie goes like it's actually a really effective shot. She just goes like this. She goes,
yeah, because that's how Carrie does stuff. By the way, zing,
yeah,
zing, zing, split screen, zing,
yeah,
door closed, zing,
yeah,
bring me that Coke, zing, like it's just yeah.
And then the car flips over, and the car bursts into flame. And I was like, thank God, those people deserve to die. They were awful.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was just I couldn't believe that she was doing that.
Yeah. But if you think about it...
then I was just like, are we going so far into parody that that's kind of the intent of it? That's all I could take it as.
Yeah, I did have the same... But I think that's what he's trying to... I think part of that is he's drawing out these sensational kind of... These emotions, these reactions, because I go... Because, yeah, initially I go, oh, now she's just trying to kill her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Off the rails. But she just watched her murder... She just watched Carrie murder every single one of her friends, several teachers, basically the whole school, and set the thing on fire with her brain.
That makes her, I'm not even...
And she's like, you're a monster,
Sure.
I need to kill you. At that point,
And
do they kind of become the hero?
Sure, but it has everything to do with how he did that. Because
Sure.
it was...
It
was like
is
one
crazy.
of those Mad Max shots with her like this.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and it was
yeah.
just how he directed that
Yeah.
scene. I was just like, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It is, and it is a pulpy movie.
But it didn't feel like every single that's why I'm like, Tarantino knows how to do these things where he's like, we're living in this world and it's crazy, and like in Django, when they shoot people and they fly 9 feet backwards onto the ground, you're like, wow, that's very unrealistic but intentional.
I agree.
Blah blah blah.
And I think you're right. I think it is sort of when you make. There's a thing about art, and you don't make, at least to my mind, or maybe I don't know. In most cases, if you make 1,000 choices and put them all up there, it is far less effective than if you make 5 choices and they're the right ones. You know what I mean? It's like that. I mean, because yeah, like isolated, correct choices make it interesting, and go, this is specific and this is specific to this world, and it all feels part of the same thing. I agree, and I think, I mean, I don't know, like I have not seen a ton of De Palma. I would like to. He's a director who is respected and kind of talked about as an artist, but at the same time, I don't think, I mean, Tarantino is more so. Like, I mean, De Palma is a name. He's a huge name, and people will bring him up, but he's kind of more. He's kind of more in the shadows than Tarantino is, say.
Oh, sure.
I think,
and I like Tarantino.
I love it.
I don't love Tarantino.
Yeah, I think Tarantino.
I think he's a gifted filmmaker without question. But...
And I think there are reasons for that. I think his stuff. I don't know. I think
it's just, honestly, I look at Tarantino, I'm like, that's a really, really gifted filmmaker, and he makes stuff that's not necessarily for me, and I just kind of take it as that. Sure. It's just not, I watch all of them, and I enjoy all of them.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, do you feel like
that's not what that felt? That's not what this felt like, though.
Yeah. Oh no, and I think I was just saying that. I don't know. Tarantino's more successful and are more widely praised, I guess, more well known, and I think his stuff is more
stolen,
more palatable in some senses.
I think he knows how to do shock value more tastefully than De Palma does. A lot of De Palma's stuff, he lives in that kind of slimy world because his characters are slimy, and he deals with slimy subject matters and stuff. But it doesn't rise above it. It lives in it.
Sure.
And therefore, it makes me sometimes question whether De Palma understands how slimy his material is. And he's doing it from an ironic standpoint or a satirical standpoint, or if that's just how he is.
So I guess that's what I'm saying is, like, do you think that De Palma has a style that has integrity in and of itself that you just do not respond to, or do you think that he is screwing it up? Do you, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, do you think he's doing his thing but it's not your thing, or do you think he's not, he thinks he's doing his thing but he's not doing it? He's screwing it up. Because there are people who can have, like, a style that's sort of in some places kind of sloppy, but it all sort of fits together, and you don't know exactly why, but it just, this feels like it belongs there.
I guess I honestly, aside from Mission Impossible, I don't really, I think I'm just having this realization now that we're talking about it and you're asking me this question. I don't think I'm a De Palma fan.
Sure, and which is totally fine.
But I mean, like, and I'm saying this because, like, when I look at The Untouchables, which I think is a good movie, I think if you gave that to, I'll just say, a director I respect more, I think that material would be better. Because I think back to a lot of the scenes in that movie, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it's all the things that he does, overbear. And, like, look, it's got Ennio Morricone music. It's one of the best soundtracks of all time. But even then, he uses it so overbearingly.
Sure.
And, like, his camera movements and his visuals are so... Overwrought is such a great word. Yeah. Because that really sums him up for me. And it's just, it's so in your face. And I feel like it's, Edgar Wright's in your face, but there's a craft and an intent where A connects to B, and the editing is crisp,
Oh,
and it's all like there's a sequence and stuff. And he's all about sequence. Like De Palma, I feel like likes sequences. It's just that he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't know pacing, or I don't know. It just all seems kind of off. So I think about all these movies, and I'm like, and I like Scarface, kinda. I mean, in terms of his filmography. But yeah, I think of other directors, and I'm like, because Scarface was written by Oliver Stone, and I'm like, frankly, I'd like to see an Oliver Stone version of that movie. I wish he had directed his own script, because then that would have been even better. I don't know. Yeah.
I've not seen all of Scarface.
It's enjoyable. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I need to watch more to Palma. I need to watch more to Palma. I definitely enjoyed Carrie, but I take it as entertainment. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of go, this is an entertainment.
Yeah.
And I will enjoy it as such, and be like, man, you showed me some stuff, and I looked at some stuff that you showed me. And I wish I had
watched it that way.
Whoa.
Yeah, I wish I had watched it that way, because, I mean, this thing's got like a crate, and, whatever. Don't go by a tomato meter, watch a movie and judge for yourself.
Right.
But, it in the lore of this movie is that it's one of the stone cold horror classics. It's got like 90-something% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I read reviews afterward, and like it is across the board considered like people hold in high regard. Owen fucking Gleiberman was like, this is the movie that made me want to be a critic.
I read that too, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this had a real effect on people.
Pauline Kael loved it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, it may be a thing that like, I mean, we've been looking at movies that for the time really were trailblazers. I think a thing that we haven't talked about, that he talked about in that article, is the impact of something that we take as like we take for granted now. But the hand coming up at the end, when it's like it's all over, the house sinks into the ground, and you go, maybe it was the devil.
Yeah.
Or like,
I was so like numb at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the house is
Well,
folding in on itself.
I don't know that you're supposed to think that, but you're kind of like, it was interesting. It was very interesting to me. Like,
I just kept thinking of The Simpsons the whole time.
Yeah.
Is that where they took that from for that episode? Is that what that's from?
The house kind of sucking into itself. I think that's Poltergeist.
Oh yeah, that is Poltergeist. What am I saying?
But I mean, Poltergeist came after Carrie, so it's like it's kind of his sister was her own hand, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she would go, and she would be like, I would go to screenings and watch the final 5 minutes and see the audience gasp in horror.
Which is great.
And that's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool.
And she's great. She's great in the movie. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I'd go, if like outside of this conversation, if someone was like, this is like, how do you feel about Carrie? I don't know if I'd be like, I love Carrie. I'd be like, Carrie's a lot of fun.
Okay.
There's great stuff and it's crazy and it's nuts.
Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah.
I would catch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Maybe that should be our
I really hated, like, I don't ever hate movies.
I know,
and I had a visceral reaction to this movie.
Which is great. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, yeah.
It is. It is great.
Stephen King was surprised that.
Oh, was that not in the book? The.
Yeah, totally expected the hand. Usually jump scares don't get me so good, and I think, for at least from the way Owen Gleiberman was speaking, it was one of the first of those.
Oh, cool.
Where like
I was so
dead.
numb. I was just like, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
Like it didn't get me at all. But
and dead, and then like dream. You know, like you're walking and it's misty, and you go, it's a dream sequence because you've seen it now because it's been done.
Yeah.
But at the time, I don't know. I don't think it had. I mean, if you think about it, it's the beginning of it's at the beginning of those sort of like. Is it? I don't know. Certainly before the slasher.
Well, yeah,
movement.
because Halloween, as someone said,
But I don't know, 'cause there
didn't come
were-
out till 78.
Yeah, and there were horror movies.
So yeah, this really kind of did set up the teen horror
Yeah.
genre. What did the mom say about? Because like they have the nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Irving has the nightmare, and then she's like, "Oh, but she'll forget. She's young." It's something very. It was like she's young enough to where she won't remember.
Right.
And I'm like, she's 18 years old. She's gonna
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I was like, what are you, insane?
What are you insane?
Are you nuts?
She's absolutely.
This is
her
this is the
entire-
final girl right now. Is what? Yeah.
Her entire high school class, all her friends, everyone she knew, was burnt alive and killed.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend was killed with a bucket.
That part made I was like, oh, it knocked him out. Weird.
A very
it was
light, very soft little bucket.
It's the fontanelle. It's the thing. The baby. He just never. It never formed.
He had so much hair, it would have cushioned it.
Yeah, it's very true. It was like the bucket just disappears.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there a bucket? It's like, oh. Shing shing, loose change, a dog. Yeah.
Hush puppy.
Yeah. Carrie helped me deal with relinquishing your final ties to religion. It's a
interesting.
very anti-religious film in some context. I think in every context.
Yeah.
I think
I think that's the only context.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, Andre. I mean, it was.
I maybe even wonder at the end when she throws all the knives at her mother and pins her into the doorway, and I was like, oh, cool. Because even that didn't work for me. Because I was just like, why is she still standing up? She's dead now.
Cautious of them.
And I'm like, why is she still? She would be slumped. Even just have her slump. I think her hands would be ripped open and she would fall, but it was just like she was standing there.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really dumb. It's a dumb thing to do. And I was like, who do I blame for this? Oh, yeah. Brian De Palma.
I mean, I think it might have been interesting to, because like, how do you get the Christ pose otherwise? You know what I mean? It's like, because like
all you had to do was just do the same thing
and then
just have her lean like that just a little.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
her feet weren't on camera.
And then cut to the crucifix that you clearly made for the movie because it's got glowing eyes. It's got glowing eyes.
Yeah, we forgot. Whenever her Sissy Spacek is being bad, she locks her in the room.
Well, that's interesting, Andre. Well, so the thing is, like, you know, that it's interesting though because you're because you're watching it and you're like, and she's like the devil, and you're like, oh gosh, like, you know, and like if you think about it from her perspective, she's trying to she's repressed herself. She's trying to protect her daughter from the outside world, whatever.
Well, she has that.
And then I was like, oh, she's really gonna flip out because I was like, yeah, I would. If I were in her shoes, I would think it's the devil too, because your daughter can move crap with her mind. But anyway, what were you saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but what were you saying?
Oh, when she shut all the windows and stuff, I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
Lock her up.
Exactly. Yeah, you kind of start going.
I was rooting for her.
Yeah, you go. You go. Your daughter is a monster. We like her.
I love the mom.
She's a nice lady. Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
And like, frankly, I can,
Yeah, you're kind of
for different reasons. I'm with your aunt. I was like, get it, mom. Like, I was into it. And then at the end, like, she has that monologue. And she's like, I should have never had ya father stick it in me. It's very, very gross.
Yeah.
And I liked that. And
I liked it. I liked
the way she said it was so fantastic. She's like,
and then she just has this like serene, smiling. I mean, just insane.
It was crazy.
Stabs her daughter in the back. Mm-hmm, she did.
Yeah, she's great.
So did Carrie. Yeah.
But so she was like a reformed, like religious, like she
like a born again.
Yeah, born again. I mean, yeah. That's how I took it.
I don't know that she used to not be.
Well, because she was like, I had a liquor on my breath.
Had what? She said the dad had liquor on his breath.
Oh, I thought it's such a weird monologue.
It is, yeah.
But like, I felt like at one point she was like, I had it, and she said some weird thing where I took it as she was also drunk.
Oh, I think, well, yeah, because like he was on, like his whiskey breath was on her or something, or like, yeah, but like, I feel like, I mean, like, what's her mom like? What are her parents like?
Yeah.
Maybe they're like Ned Flanders' parents, lousy beatniks.
Lousy beatniks.
Yeah, and I think it is like in the article was, and I was like, oh, that's interesting because they were saying that it was kind of like the beginnings of this sort of anti-religious movement that kind of like reaction to kind of where people were like, and sort of Hollywood being more, I don't know if it was like the beginning of it, but like it was at least representative of Hollywood kind of being like sort of this like, no, religion is crazy and insane. Imagine after the credits, fan fiction or a prequel with a mom having telekinetic powers as a child, and she was forced to suppress the powers as a child and was terrified when she saw them in Carrie. Sure. I really want a spin-off of Chris. I want that character because
I'm surprised that didn't happen.
She's nuts. Like, she's insane.
It would have been cool to see a prequel. Later, man.
And then she also has telekinetic powers because she can go down on a guy and still talk. We're going to head off. Have a good one. Later, MM7. Yeah, I don't know if that's telekinetic. She just was like...
I hate Carrie White!
By the way. And he goes, who? Cut. It's great. It's fantastic. She's telepathic. Right. Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah. She's telepathic. That's what it was. I thought that as well. Yeah, man. It's a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie.
It's crazy.
A lot of crazy stuff. Did really well, though. People
Ashram
loved
BK,
it.
thank you for the host. Yeah.
Like, it was a big box office. It made, like, crazy amount of money. It was, like,
What
the
a,
budget was, like, $1.8 million. They made
tons,
boatloads.
What a crazy fun movie to watch with, like, a bunch of high school friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's like what a horror movie. Or, like, in a big theater. Huge moments to be like, huh? And what?
Now
and
that
like,
I have seen it,
yeah,
I know what context to put it in.
Yeah.
I just never thought I was going to put it into the context of it's a so bad it's good type movie. And that's how I view it. And I could absolutely watch this again and be like, you're going to love this scene.
Yeah.
Because she talks with a penis in her mouth.
and then you're like, oh, sorry, the wrong De Palma film.
Yeah.
Because this is
his
early work.
This is one of his tropes.
I want to watch a porno that has like these artistic oneers coming around. And
so you haven't seen Snake Eyes?
I've not seen Snake Eyes.
God, man. You could honestly, like, just the opening is like a little short film in and of itself. You could just watch, and you could find it on YouTube.
I think I have watched it.
It's really impressive. Yeah. It's really cool.
Is Gary Sinise Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen it then.
It's actually, it's a trashy movie, but I really enjoy it. I've seen it a couple times.
I did have some thoughts, Derek. I did have some thoughts. So here are some things. You mentioned something, or someone mentioned something. Someone mentioned Eraserhead, which I've never seen. But I don't know if because we're going to do Lynch later. Hey, can I tell you how much I have enjoyed this and how much I appreciate you doing this? I mean, like, I was like episode 7 or episode 8. That's awesome.
I freaking love it.
Great. I love doing this.
I love doing
guys,
it.
You guys are great. I appreciate your being here for this. It's slow but effing weird. Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely watch it. We'll definitely watch it at some point. The other thing is that, like, never mind. I'll talk to you. I'll mention that off stream. What else? There was something else. There was another idea that I had based on something that you said or something that someone said. I can't remember because we had talked about Alien. We talked about The Thing. We talked about The Fly, which are all fantastic. Gosh, they're all great.
They're all great.
They're all great.
We talked about...
Thanks, The Thing. Lots of love, guys.
Oh, thanks, man.
The Thing. Yeah, Diz.
The Thing.
Yeah, Diz.
We talked about Halloween.
We
talked about... We'd even talked about Don't Look Now, but I think we're going to wait and do that maybe at another time.
Because that one's honestly less of a horror.
Yeah, I want to do
more of like a
horror.
slow burn. Yeah. So we did The Exorcist. We did Carrie. I don't know. Man with X-ray eyes? Interesting.
We did The Exorcist last week.
Yeah. Because I mean, gosh, there was one. There was one, and I don't think it was Eraserhead. It was another one that made me kind of go.
A weird one?
Well, just yeah.
Let the Right One In is good. Ooh, Evil Dead.
Not seen that. Oh yeah. I've not seen The Evil Dead. I've seen part of The Evil Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen Army of Darkness, but
Oh, that's not the same.
No, it's not at all. Yeah, Evil Dead is. I've seen a significant. I've seen a portion of it, and enough to be like,
budget goodness.
dang, yeah. The Shining could be one, absolutely.
I wouldn't even need to rewatch that. I watched that like a couple weeks ago.
Hey, Ice Cream Pazuzu, interesting name. I like that. Squirm, oh, wait, Squirm, not Slither. Squirm. That's like, that sounds familiar. Is that like an 80s deal? Yeah. The first one is a scary movie. No, I know. And yep. Earthworms that eat people. Gosh,
Yeah,
I mean, there's
the Swedish version is the one I've seen. I
Right.
haven't seen because they changed it. The other one's called.
That was Chloe Grace Moretz as well.
Yeah, with the remake. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I'd like to. I've not seen Let the Right One In. Yeah, Let Me In.
Yeah, Let Me In. Yeah.
I don't know. So you got to watch Let the Right One In. Yeah, I don't know. There's also like, gosh, I mean, there's just so we could do horror movies forever. I mean,
We could.
because then there's comedy horror or horror comedy, which is fantastic.
Poltergeist, sure.
Yeah, Poltergeist.
We're gonna
Texas
powwow about
Chainsaw,
it.
yeah, we'll
Texas
talk about it.
Chainsaw. We're gonna powwow, and then he'll post what we're gonna do.
I'd like to. Yeah, I kind of feel
Tomorrow.
like I'd like to do something that like feels different from Carrie.
Me too.
I
I would like
No,
to get far away.
know, but I actually mean yeah, but I mean like something that like just sort of different flavor of horror movie from even The
Yeah.
Exorcist, like something like maybe.
Yeah.
We'll talk about.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Tremors is horror comedy. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean it. Yeah. Stuff like Tremors, Slither, Gremlins though.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. If you haven't seen that, that's great. Yeah. All right. Also, Serial Mom. Are you familiar with Serial Mom?
No, but that's a great shirt. Who is that?
That's Kathleen Turner.
Huh. Oh, I have not seen that.
Yeah. Does having not seen the movie, does this make it look like I want to cut Kathleen Turner's head off?
No.
It makes it look like she's the wheel.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I was like, I like this shirt a lot, and it's
Cool.
it's an HBO movie by John Waters. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
We could watch that. It's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. Saw would never have existed if not for Cube. Wasn't Cube after Saw? Saw, I think, would never have existed if not for 7. Cube would be wicked. Oh, Get Out.
I watched Squirm, and after that, I could never eat McDonald's BB barbecue sauce ever again. Weird associate.
Yeah.
Is there like a weird sequence with barbecue sauce from McDonald's in that movie?
I think probably there's maybe the barbecue sauce looks like the blood that they used. I'm assuming.
Oh.
Why not watch Insidious? I've never seen it. What is the new It? I've never seen either It actually.
New It is awesome.
Yeah, I've heard.
I really enjoyed that.
We could do.
I don't think it's scary.
Oh,
I thought it was fantastic.
There's a movie called The Descent. I don't know.
Oh fuck yeah,
It's pretty.
dude! Descent is probably like it's hard for me. Like, and this sounds like it's like nothing scares me anymore.
Yeah.
But like honestly, not a lot of modern horror really scares. Just
Me
not a lot
either.
of stuff really
Me either.
scares me.
Yeah. I'm a
But
big
boy,
badass. I'm a big badass.
The Descent.
Yeah.
The Descent got me a couple times, and
Yeah.
just overall, I was like, "That's a fantastic movie." I've got it. Like I own it.
Yeah.
I've watched it a bunch because like the score is amazing, the cinematography is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Hereditary is pretty messed up. It's a solid one. It's a solid one. What is it? So let me ask you, what it'd be interesting to do something that like, I mean, Exorcist is effective. It'd be interesting to do something that like actually is like that actually scares me or actually scares you. But what is the thing in horror movies that gets you? Because like to me slasher movies, I go, nah, I don't. I mean, like,
they're fun.
I'm never scared.
I'm always just in it.
Yeah,
I always go for them like get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they make the characters less and less like
Yeah.
interesting, because and
they're
Carrie
like-
does it to an extent. They go, we set up these people are horrible. We're gonna kill them all later, and you're not gonna care.
Yeah.
And you're gonna kind of go sweet, because like slashers, like those killers, like Freddy Krueger, that stuff doesn't. I mean, I really haven't seen it, but
It's more when there's just a deep sense of, honestly, it's Alien. Alien to this day still scares the fuck out of me.
maybe we should do Alien.
Maybe we should do, guys.
Alien
what would you
great.
think about Alien? It's a perfect. We have this discussion a lot where I'm like, there's not a lot of perfect movies in my perception.
Yeah.
But I think Alien is a perfect film.
Oh, we're definitely considering movies from other countries. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And Alien is from Great Britain, so there we go.
But like
Just a little world tour. No,
I mean that movie, like when he goes into the tunnel.
There you go. Hey, ice cream.
Into the air shaft. And it's just I don't know who, if the, like, I hope the production designer got an Oscar for that. I don't know if he did, but like if he was the one who was like, hey, I came up with these things that go.
Oh yeah. Which is just like a thing that
makes that scene.
It does. That's interesting, Pazuzu, given your name. That's pretty interesting. Demonic, satanic occultism gets you. So the thing that gets me, because I'm like, killers, I go, they exist, but like, I'm not dealing with that right now. Like stuff like Freddy Krueger or the Wolfman, stuff like that. I go, ghost stuff, supernatural stuff, that gets me. I go, oh, like if it's done well, freaks me out. That's the stuff that like, yeah.
You know what really? Okay. I see what you're saying.
Like supernatural stuff gets me.
Okay.
If it's done well.
Because
that's the kind of thing that I go, that may be in my house. I don't know.
Yeah.
And when I turn off the light,
yeah,
who knows?
I buy that.
That's the thing. That's the stuff that I go, that's like immediate.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a movie that did that to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing is it's the sort of thing where like, if you're sitting around with people and they're like, oh, let's tell a bunch of ghost stories. Like if I go 1 or 2 or 3 in and they're good, I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
I feel bad. I feel weird.
Do you think any of Guillermo del Toro's movies are genuinely scary?
I haven't.
Or even like something like The Orphanage that he produced.
I like The Orphanage.
Me too.
Do
you think it's scary though?
Yeah, I think while watching it, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and like stuff like The Others, stuff like that. I think I was scared during Sixth Sense.
Others was cool, man.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
I really like that one too.
Great movie.
I like that one too. The Haunting. You ever seen The Haunting? The original The Haunting
with Vincent
Black
Price.
and white. No, that's like
Or is that the House on Haunted Hill?
House on Haunted Hill. I know they
I get those so confused.
The Haunting of Hill House.
I think I even told you the other week that I was like I'd seen that one, and then I think I was talking about another one.
Yeah. Banderas and the Skin I Live In. I've never seen The Skin I Live In. I would like to. Pazuzu from The Exorcist. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was saying. You're saying that stuff really gets you, but it's also the stuff that you really like. So that's cool. Pacific Rim scared me how much it made you realize I want giant sword. Yeah, sure.
Honestly, you know what scares me? Have you ever seen Elephant?
Yeah.
With Gus Van Sant?
So we mentioned that earlier, and that immediately popped into my head, and I was like, that movie is...
Because Kelsey just finished this. I mean, it's called Columbine, and it's this thick-ass nonfiction book that is like, it explores the whole thing and the aftermath and everything, and I'm about to dig into it myself, and it made me think of that movie, and I remember seeing that movie in the theater, and it horrified me.
Yeah.
Because there's something, and I was talking with her about it, and how there's something deeply unsettling and horrifying because of the nature of the setting.
Yes.
And of course the act and everything, but the additional thing that just terrifies me is the setting of it.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like you can smell the cafeteria, and that it's just a normal public everyday thing. And that movie does such a great job of just lingering behind characters as they go about their days. And so when it goes wrong towards the end, and you see it go wrong, and then there's fires in the hallway and stuff, you're just like, that feels so authentic and real, and it's
it really truly is. It's chilling, and talk about sort of the opposite approach to something like Carrie. I mean, without the telekinetic thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the opposite of sensational, which is what really truly makes it. Just like it's very. I mean, it's I mean, it's like, oof.
So I mean, I know that's more of like that wouldn't be considered a quote unquote horror movie.
Yeah,
but
but
boy,
no,
did it scare me
and
more than most horror movies ever have.
absolutely,
like ever.
yeah,
Even more than The Exorcist.
and it is the sort of movie that drives home that like what. And there are certain movies that do this where it kind of goes like, what we really need to be afraid of is each other.
Yeah,
And not need to, but
And
like,
I think
there
that's
is
probably-
there is that we are there to be afraid of.
yeah, yeah.
Carpenter's The Thing is fantastic, super fun, great.
I'll always do that. Carpenter's thing
Yeah.
is Alien, Thing, Exorcist. It's weird because I don't really consider myself a horror genre like super fan.
Yeah.
But I have if I was gonna make a top 10, The Thing, Alien, and Exorcist are in my top 5,
Yeah.
like without question. And Exorcist is my number 2.
Particularly eerie true crime is always scary.
Yeah.
That part in the Zodiac when he goes down into the basement and
yeah.
Charles Fleischer's
Oh.
there looking up at him and he's just like, come on. That's terrifying. Here's an interesting connection. Charles Fleischer, if you know what I'm talking about, Zodiac, the guy who plays Charles Fleischer, who has like the movie posters that Gyllenhaal goes to see, and he's down there in the basement and it's terrifying. He's the voice of Roger Rabbit. Amy Irving is the singing voice of Jessica Rabbit.
No way.
She sings.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like,
Yabba yabba.
which
doo.
also connects here because Kathleen Turner is the speaking voice of Jessica Rabbit. And I always assumed she sung it because, I mean, that's, she's
Yeah.
just got that crazy, smoky voice. But he had 1922. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
singing the whole song just to make
Yeah, dude.
everyone uncomfortable. Shudder's a really nice horror movie.
Suspiria.
From time.
Okay, so I saw Suspiria.
Oh, I've never seen that. You've seen it?
I saw it 2 months ago at the Austin at AFS Cinema here in Austin, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't like it at all.
Because I was like, that's a I mean, that's a giallo. That's a
I
huge
know.
whatever. And like,
and I hated it, and I went with a couple people, and they didn't like it either. And then I heard
I didn't see The Witch.
they remade it,
Yeah.
and apparently, and I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then people are like, it's supposed to be like fantastic.
Dakota Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Is it not? Yeah. Not a fan of anime.
Which was awesome. I enjoyed The Witch.
I didn't see The Witch. Yeah.
It was cool.
There's Perfect Blue. It's an anime about an actress being stalked and it's genuinely unsettling. I bet it is. That sounds
interesting.
good. Yeah, I've never seen like Audition. I say that because of an actress, not because like anime and Japanese. Yeah, The Vitch, the 2VH.
Yeah, The Witch was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we got some stuff to talk about. Folklore. Oh yeah, I never saw Babadook either.
Babadook was good. Babadook was good.
Huh.
Yeah. And Hereditary was great. It's just the ending didn't work for me.
Yeah, Hereditary.
But in terms of just like tonal dread type stuff and some really interesting imagery from time to time, it's cool.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it.
Yeah, we have. Hey, Deluxe Supreme. I haven't seen every frame of painting in a long time because there was a while where he wasn't updating for a while, and I really would love to go see him. Yeah, Hereditary. I don't know. It was effective in a way that I kind of.
It's evil.
Yeah,
Felt
and
evil.
but then like at the early part, I mean, that's just is something that I'll never forget. So on that level, sure. And then as it started unraveling the story, I just kind of lost interest and kind of by the end of it, I was like, okay, so it's like Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah. That's why I was just
which
like,
we could
meh.
watch, and almost exactly like Rosemary's Baby in the sense that.
Yeah, that's why I was so let down. I was just like, oh, it's that movie.
Yeah.
It's
And
that genre movie.
And it all, but I mean, the ending is the same and has the same tone essentially.
Mm-hmm. Rosemary's Baby, another one is great movie. It's a great movie.
John Cassavetes. Wait, whose channel shut down? Oh, it did? No. Did it get shut down? Oh my gosh. Trick or Treat. I've never seen that.
Oh, I've never seen Trick or Treat. Oh, that could be a good one.
It's like an anthology thing, right? Yeah.
Is it? Is it a?
I thought it was an anthology.
Is Trick or Treat an anthology?
I think
film?
I thought it was like a stitched together. Yeah, like it's like it like sort of like a.
Are you?
It's got like a through story. I thought maybe not. Maybe not.
Tell us if it's. Is it a bunch of different films in one film?
Is it like a bunch of different stories?
Yeah.
Every time you just stop making videos. Oh. 5 interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. So
Okay.
like you know, like kind of like a narratively.
Okay.
There's a.
What's the one you forgot? I want to know.
I want to know. I wish I did. I've got some ideas, and I'm going to talk to you about them briefly. So, within the last couple of weeks, so we had a rat or a mouse, and we were like, oh gosh, and then we found out slowly that it was living in the bottom of our refrigerator.
Right.
And we pulled it out.
I remember you telling
me.
me.
Had crap everywhere.
Yeah.
So then my brother-in-law was here, and Akash and I were downstairs. Went downstairs in the morning, and we heard it. And Akash was like, "It's in there right now." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Let's get it." I was like, "Well, okay." I was like, "Well, we should move the refrigerator and push it out to the, like, face the back toward the door so it'll run out." And she was like, "Let's just tape it up. Let's just cover up the back because it had chewed through. Cover up the back." Cut a hole only big enough for the mouse trap, and then put the mouse trap, because the mouse trap is kind of like a thing where you go in if you're a mouse. And so like I started doing that, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. And then I was like, I was like, well, it's covered up. And Polaris is like, well, let's just take it out and catch it. And I was like, let's take it outside. So we pulled the thing out. This is all going somewhere, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
That has to do with horror movies. Pulled it out. Took everything out. Took all the food out. Hefted the refrigerator, put it in the back of my brother-in-law's car, drove out to a field, pulled it out, pulled off the thing, saw the mouse, shooed the mouse out. It went down. We drove it back, started deep cleaning it and bleach cleaning it outside. We're like, cool, cool, cool. I'm over here taking elements out and kind of cleaning them. All of a sudden I hear, Brian, come here. And I was like, huh? I walk in. He's like, there's another mouse. And I was like, what? There's another mouse in the same thing. So we covered it back up, drove it out to the same field, pulled the thing out, pulled the stuff out, mouse ran away, put it back on, got everything back in, put it in black. And we were like, cool. The last couple of days, we'd been like, sweet, sweet, sweet. Last night, we heard another mouse. And I'm just going to get my family out and then burn the house down. Don't tell anybody. But in the process of this, because Polaris and I had a long time to just hang out, he mentioned a movie called Of Unknown Origin, which is a movie about a man who's refurbishing a townhome and finds out that there's a giant rat, and it starts driving him insane trying to get it. He becomes obsessive trying to, and the kicker is that the man is Peter Weller, which makes me really happy. And so I'm going to see that someday. And I was like, dude, we could watch that, but it's like I think that's a very, very like kind of like it could be great. You okay?
That movie. So I didn't. So rats in like not small but big rats. That's why I hate possums. So that movie will probably terrify me. B. I love, and I can't underline this enough. I love that you took your refrigerator out 2 times.
Yeah, I know.
And you put it in a car.
Yeah.
And then you drove it out. Just for a mouse.
We used it as a mouse trap. We were like, cool. Gotcha. You live in our refrigerator, idiot. Oh, man.
I would have been so upset.
I know.
I would have just been in a sour mood.
Well, what made me sour was last night when we heard it again.
Oh.
A third mouse. Like a baby mouse. Who knows? So,
Yeah, it's like, are you going to need to, like, bomb that thing? Or
like the house?
No, I mean, like, you know.
Bomb the house.
Like a poison bomb or,
I don't know.
whatever they do. Funk bomb.
Thank you, Exo Andre. Anyway, so that was that. A man who recently completed rebuilding townhouse goes into rat infestation becomes an interspecies duel. Yeah. So I was like, I need to watch that, but once I'm sure that rat is gone.
Dude, I'm gonna have to watch that.
I know, I really want to see it. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it but it's also kind of weird to be like Exorcist, Carrie, this movie that no one's heard of. But I'm into it.
It's an 80s movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Watch the trailer. It's good. It's good. It's also. Oh man, I think. Oh okay. On IMDb they have alternate. It's just and you just like look at the VHS art
yeah,
and you go, oh, it's one of those. I remember that like that design of VHS. I do too. But then you're scrolling through. If you scroll through the alternate covers, there's one where
dude, look at that.
That, but then also let me see like.
Can you see that?
Great.
I don't know if you can.
Oh, it's great.
Sorry. It's just that's a classic.
But like, hold on. Let me see if they show the. Oh gosh darn it! Show me the. No. Oh, dude, look at that.
Oh yeah.
That's so great. I want to watch one of those like '80s creature features. Like, oh my gosh.
You know what else scares me? The ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Just.
Oh, I was gonna say The Abyss, but The Abyss isn't really horror. We should watch that though.
Yeah, but I mean like the dark.
Mm-hmm.
When I mean deep ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's scary.
Kasha too. She's terrified of the ocean. Hold on. Oh, that's.
Put down a glue trap and 2 rats got stuck. One died quickly and the other was still alive and ate the other rat's head until it couldn't reach anymore and died. Whoa!
Gosh, man. Gosh.
Woo.
Wait, why can't I? Oh, well, whatever.
But yeah, guys, we'll pick a movie. We're going to discuss it. And then
This is it.
he'll let you know tomorrow.
Do you remember those VHS
Yeah.
covers?
Those are great.
Like this? I just remember walking through the oh, it's green, so it's not going to show up, darn it. Whatever. And then if you just scroll through, then there's an alternate one where it's just a drawn naked woman with no, like her head is off, and it's just like what, and then there's a rat, like I think a rat on her back.
Dude, there were so many
the number
like,
of those
80s
VHS
covers
they were just like
when you would
naked woman with bugs covering her boobs or like whatever.
We had a mom and pop VHS store right next to the grocery store, and so we used to go there.
Yeah.
And
our grocery store had like the Albertsons had a thing in it. Yeah, anyway.
And we would go in there, and like I remember being really young and just walking the aisle. And when it's a mom and pop store, it's got like a different smell to it and stuff. Like and like it's all made of wood panels everywhere and stuff.
Smells like mom and or pop.
Yeah. And you're walking around, and I just remember seeing so many VHS covers of like half naked women, like going or whatever, and they're all horror movies.
And some monster,
some
grabbing around,
or a
and
knife,
covering,
or like some like very red font and stuff, or like a rip through a photo or something like that. And I remember my mom always like. She was like, "Don't you look at that?"
I know.
Always like hurrying me through to like go get Black Beauty or freaking whatever Disney movie we're gonna get.
Did you ever see Dark City?
With
Rufus Sewell? Is it Alex Proyas movie?
No, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Cool.
But isn't that like a lot of people are like that's where the Matrix got all the Matrix stuff?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like those two are always talked about.
I remember. You ever seen Strange Days?
Oh, that's a Catherine Bigelow. Yeah. I queued it and then I never did because I really like Bigelow. I like all of Bigelow's stuff.
No.
She's so good.
Oh, we could watch Near Dark, which is
Near Dark's great.
it's a Texas vampire story with Bill Paxton.
Berserk. I'm gonna look that up. I really do. I love. Like, I mean, I'm terrified of deep ocean type stuff in real life. I mean, I'll go on the ocean, guys. You guys want to go on the ocean. But it's such a great genre.
You're talking about Berserk, the manga, though, correct? The one that was the inspiration for Dark Souls, right, Scorp? Jamie Lee Curtis, yes, that's true.
Gotcha.
There was so Strange Days is the movie where it's like all virtual, like, and people like pay for. I haven't seen it, but it's like. You get plugged into a machine, and it's kind of like there was this rash of like I wouldn't say a rash because there weren't tons of them, but like Lawnmower Man or like the early '90s, they were like, "This is what VR is gonna be like,"
right?
And I was like, wow, and then like later we were like, oh no, it's not, and now VR like really is that.
Yeah,
it's
right.
It's getting to that point where you could do that.
Wasn't Strange Days written by Cameron?
Possibly.
I think so.
Really?
I think, or he got a story by credit. I think.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that makes me want to see it more. I remember going and picking it up and like being like, I think 12 or 13 and like being like, hey mom, and like flipping it over and then kind of, you know, it was like this sexy sci-fi something. And I was like, oh, maybe there's boobs in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey mom, can we get this? I just like, whatever. And she like, and it was one of the most mortifying moments of my life because she flipped it over, she looked at it and was like, sexy, no, put this back. And I was like, no, I just not because what? Yeah, no. It was, I felt so horrified.
What were the first?
I had to go into the closet. And,
movie boobs you saw?
oh wow, I don't know. I remember. So
I think I know which ones.
I don't remember the first nudity that I saw and really like responded to, but I remember going to see The Rocketeer and going like, this movie's great. And I remember going like, I really like watching Jennifer Connelly, and I'm not sure why. I can't stop watching her.
Me too.
And I was like,
sure.
I was like, I don't really, and it was, yeah. Boy.
Oh yeah, man, she was stunning in that movie. She was va-va-voom.
Lord of Lotion's cool movie. Oh yeah, Oh yeah. Clive Barker. There's also The Prophecy with
Jamie Lee
Christopher
Curtis in
Walken.
Trading Places, yeah.
Oh, Dream. I never seen Trading Places. Pink Floyd's The Wall on VHS in early 90s. Huh.
What year was Starship Troopers?
Sorry. No, I just had to.
Oh, no, totally unrelated.
No, I just got really happy thinking of Starship Troopers because I can't wait for us to do Verhoeven.
Yeah.
97 or 90? I think 97.
This couldn't have been my first boobs then.
Oh, yeah.
I think, honestly, my first boobs were, like, there's a kill scene in one of the Friday the 13th movies where a girl is having sex with a guy in a tent, and she's on top of him, and then she gets stabbed through the back, and then the blood squirts all over the dude. I don't know which one that is, but I used to go over to a buddy's house on, like, the weekends, and we would always...
Going to separate rooms.
His brother would like get us. He'd be like, "Hey,
you little dweebs, want to see something?"
Yeah, he's like, "Here's the movie we got this week," and we like, you know, you'd watch. I remember watching Children of the Corn, and it's if you've watched it as an adult, it is a terrible non-scary movie. But boy, I remember watching that, and like we were like, "You go outside." And like it was like, you know, like it's like 11:30 at night. You're like, I dare you to go into the backyard. And you're like, I dare you to go in the backyard. And we were just really scared.
I need to go have sex with someone in a tent. I dare you.
Yeah.
You'll die. People don't use the recommendation of not making interesting. We're watching horror films every night. Interesting and sad. What have you? Do you have any recommendations? I think we're narrowing in on some, but I want to see Mother very badly, very very much. I'm trying to think. I remember renting Airplane 2. There's an Airplane 2.
Yeah.
It's called Airplane 2, the sequel. And it's a space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's PG. And the most insane thing about PG movies in the 80s.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
You pop it in, and there's a part in Airplane where they're going through I remember this, and I don't know, 10. I don't know how old I was, but I remember they're at the airport and they're going through the security kind of camera archway, and the guy walks through and it goes, and another guy walks through and goes, and the guy walks through and goes, and it's on. They're watching on this TV, and then a girl walks through and goes, ding, and shows her naked, and the guy walks through and goes, and the guy, and I was like, what? This is crazy, and I was like, this is PG. There was like, and then there was like, and then in the one scene, a striker, and he's painting something, and they go, Striker, and he's like, oh yeah, you can take off now, and it cuts into this woman who's fully nude, and she goes, whatever, and gets up, and I was like, I didn't know I was watching this.
I love 80s comedy random nudity. I honestly, now that you're saying that, I think Caddyshack might have been my first exposure to boobies. Yeah.
What's her face? Yeah, the blonde girl.
Totally unneeded.
Yeah.
Sex scene.
Oh yeah, yeah. In Caddyshack of all things.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, Tommy Boy's cool, but put some boobs in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, cool. Oh, the Child's Play films. I think I maybe have seen parts of it. When I was a kid, those commercials scared me. So, those trailers scared
I have
me
never
so
even
much.
seen them, but I
Brad
remember
Dourif.
I remember going to the movie theater. Is it really?
His voice.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I remember going to the movie theater and seeing, I think it was for Child's Play 2, a movie poster in the movie theater hallway when you're going to the theaters, and it was just his face, like full frame, and it was just his eyes, like just like this, and he had like blood coming out of his mouth, just a little bit of blood coming out of his mouth. And I just remember looking at that and being like, that is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Child's
in
Play
my life.
terrified me. And I don't know. Are they kind of funny? I thought like.
I think so.
Yeah, they're kind of supposed to be funny. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we're getting down to the end here. I think we did. We talked about the thing and we enjoyed it, and I think we're gonna Stripes. I have Stripes. I haven't seen it. Yeah. But so we'll talk about what we're gonna see. I mean, I think Alien is definitely a possibility. Unknown origin might be a possibility. No, I don't know. We'll talk about it, and we will. Most on topic episode yet. Yeah, fair. Because goodness, there are a lot of boobs in Carrie.
Yeah, like right out of the gate.
Yeah. That's how they get you. That's how they get you when you're a kid. They show boobs right at the beginning. You go, there might be more.
He made boobs annoying to me. Like right at, and it wasn't even boobs. Like it was full nudity.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, and I was just like, I am so over this shot. Get on with it. Just went on for too long.
All right. Well, guys, I just want to say thank you so much again for joining us. It is fantastic every time we get to do this. I love it so much. We are halfway through October. Goodness. And we'll talk about what we're going to do next time. And then after October, we'll see. We might hop back into the New Hollywood. Keep going. We might, who knows what we'll do.
We might mix it up.
It's crazy.
Guys.
We're just going to talk, but rest assured we will always be talking about movies and then diverging and going off in a million different directions. But I love it. I love it.
Me too. Dude. I love doing it.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm so glad you guys join in.
Yes.
And do it with us.
Because
it really is fun.
It's
so fun.
That is it. That is what makes it this much fun. All right. Well, we're going to raid somebody and watch the Discord. Please join the Discord if you feel like it. Or we'll also update on Twitter, which is not working. Hold on, Twitter. It's the reason we have Twitter. Boom. And we'll update there, and we'll see you next time, guys. Next Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah?
Indeed. Next Sunday.
We'll be watching something, and we'll be talking about something. Thank you, guys. Lots and lots of love.
Love ya.
And let's raid somebody. Oh, thank you so much, Ryson, for the follow. Ryson, wow.